So we've already had a very successful 1 week with experts from various fields coming and speaking on the topic. Today is the seventh day and the first session of the seventh day of the second week of this 2 week online refresher course. I welcome Dr. Mishra, Dr. Pushkar Mishra on behalf of ARSD College, IQAC, Ramanujan College, to this wonderful, beautiful Monday morning of knowledge sharing. My dear friends, I'm very delighted and happy to welcome Dr. Pushkar Mishra. At present, he is the director, Rampur Raza Library and Museum, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our honorable speaker today, Dr. Pushkar Mishra. Dr. Pushkar Mishra has been the founder of the Ashram Parampara, and today he would be talking to us on healthy mind and body with success and growth and ashram perspective. We are really honored to have him to speak to us on this very important perspective of our Indian knowledge system. I'm going to speak about Dr. Mishra, who is a distinguished scholar. He's a thinker, he's an educationist, and a politician also. He has made significant contribution through his knowledge and in various fields, including sociology, philosophy, and politics. Dr. Mishra is an expert in his field. He has authored several publications and has been part of various national, international conferences, and he is a well-traveled scholar. Dr. Mishra had shown a keen interest in sociology, philosophy at a very early phase of his academic career. He pursued his higher education from Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, New Delhi, where he earned his PhD in sociology, and his research was on sadhus and sampradayas, which reflected his deep interest in understanding the complex dynamics of human social processes. Sir's contribution has been immense to the academic arena also in multiple fields like sociology, anthropology, and philosophy. His research has focused on understanding the intricacies of Indian society with a particular emphasis on the role of sadhus and sampradayas in shaping cultural and social norms. Sir has done in-depth study of the phenomena of Hindutva resurgence. He is an expert in Parampara. He has developed the discipline of Dharma Shastra and Darshan Shastra to reflect upon the problems faced by the contemporary intellectual academic world. I'm sure, sir, we are going to really benefit from your lecture. As a scholar, Dr. Mishra has published numerous papers and articles in reputed academic journals, and he has pursued research at various national and international stage. Sir has been the founder of the Ashram Parampara. One of the most significant contribution is the founding of Ashram Parampara, a global social educational movement aimed at promoting rich human cultural heritage. Through Ashram Parampara, Dr. Mishra has worked tirelessly to preserve and promote world's traditions with a particular emphasis on the importance of human values, coherent living with mutual respect and progress for a better, peaceful, prosperous, and a harmonious earth for the generations to come. Under his guidance, Ashram Parampara has grown into a vibrant global community of scholars, thought leaders, and enthusiasts committed to preserving and promoting human heritage and justice. Beginning since Prayag Ardha Kumbha in 1995, Ashram Parampara held regular camps and workshops to develop ashramic thought this has been happening. Ashram Parampara has been present in 3 countries. This thought has been promoted in 3 countries and 10 states in India, with activities in 5 states. Irrespective of caste, gender, race, nationality, language, creed, mode of worship, etc., Ashram Parampara is an endeavor for progress and excellence for the whole of humankind with nature and rest of the species. Sir is also a politician and he has a very bright and a very constructive political career. Sir has been into politics since the very early phase of his student days. His involvement with the Akhil Bharati Vidyarthi Parishad. He has been a prominent student political leader during his days in JNU. Dr. Mishra played a key role in shaping the organization's ideology and activities. He was the president of ABVP JNU. Sir is also a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and he has held various positions within the party that has contributed constructively for the party and as well as overall to the national politics of the country. Sir has been in charge of various political responsibilities also. He has been the state convener of policy research development since 2017, state executive member since 2009 in BJP Uttar Pradesh. At present, Sir is holding a very important position, and it reflects his scholarly and visionary ability. He is at present the director of Rampur Raza Library and Museum. We all know how important this library and museum is. And Sir has a vision that he has instituted for this particular institution. Under his visionary leadership, Rampur Raza Library is realizing its dream of becoming the world-class multilingual and multicultural institution. He has taken several positive initiatives. On his initiative, the institution is taking over the entire land of Rampur Qila for the development of various activities and pointers like a world-class multicultural and multi-language multilingual research and translation centers covering all major global languages. So that's a humongous job that you're doing. Kudos to you and best wishes to you, sir. A state-of-the-art museum at Hamid Manzil within Rampur Raza Library, a world-class advanced study center, and training institutions for conservation, library science, binding, manuscriptology, and calligraphy, a cultural center, a tourist center, a modern reading hall, residential facilities. My friends, I can go on and on and on because Sir has a very distinguished profile. I can only say that, my dear friends, dear participants, and all here present, that we are very honored to have Sir here. He is joining us directly from Rampur. That is the benefit of online lectures. Sir, I feel that to welcome you uh, on behalf of all the participants and to welcome you that you are here, such a multifaceted personality who is here. We are really honored to have you. Uh, I welcome you on behalf of our principal, Professor Gyantosh Kumar Jha, our IQAC in charge, Professor Vinita Tuli. I think Sir is there, Anjali ji. Principal Sir is there. Nisha ji. I think Sir is joining. As he joins, we'll just. So, Sir, not taking much more time. I think I've already left a lot about you. I will mention it in between our lectures and as we go along with the lecture. But, Sir, it is a great thing for scholars like you to contribute not just politically, socially, and also educationally. So we are really blessed to have you here. And before I request you to start your lecture, sir, I like to thank you on behalf of all the participants that you're here. And sir, my dear friend, sir is going to speak on the topic healthy mind and body with success and growth and ashram perspective. So sir, अब मैं आपके और आपके सुनने वालों के बीच ज़्यादा देर नहीं रहूंगी और the whole stage is yours, sir. Thank you so much. Namaskar, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Sayyid Mubin Zehra ji, for such a nice introduction. I am really grateful to Atma Ram College for inviting me for this lecture, which means for last 1 week, you all have been discussing about the problems that have gained epidemic proportions in the contemporary world. particularly the mental health problem. It is a global epidemic. The psychiatrists are flooded with patients who have mental problems. Even health problems have gone up asymmetrically up, maybe because of lifestyle or other factors. In this lecture, we are supposed to delve upon the ashram perspective and how that ashram perspective is going to help humanity in general for a healthy mind and body, along with success and growth. If we try to focus on a few major problems that humanity in general faces today, one and the foremost is the mental health problem. Apart from, of course, climate change and wars of mass, weapons of mass destruction that have the capacity to make human race extinct by a single blow. Not just human race, but the entire life can be extinct in a single blow by these weapons of mass destruction. As we know, inequality is growing throughout the world at an alarming pace. We are also seeing violent conflicts world over, the rise in terror activities based on religion and modes of worship. I don't know, because science and technology has made unprecedented advancements nearly in last 250 years. Of the total, means since the contemporary man came into, they have developed a thinking ability that is not less than 1 lakh years. And in that, these 250 years are just not even a drop in ocean. In the long evolutionary history of mankind, humankind, we can see this last 250 years as not even a drop in the ocean. But the way last 250 years have changed the way of living, the way of looking at the world, is unprecedented in the sense that for more than thousands and thousands years, human beings were living in almost a routine similar way. But science and technology combined with industrial revolution changed everything. We are continuously seeing mechanization processes taking place, automations taking place, and now with the advent of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other digital technologies, humans have started outsourcing their own thinking abilities also. This mechanization through technology of human beings is not natural to human beings, because any learning process through machine is without any emotion, without any passion. I'm not against technology, as technology is very useful tool. And before starting to prepare regarding this lecture, I also consulted artificial intelligence tools, that what all is going on in contemporary scenario on this subject which I am speaking on. So it is a very useful tool. But since I am addressing to the teachers who teach to students. And any teacher's basic responsibility, more than educating a student on the subject what he or she teaches, it is more important to develop a thinking ability into that student. And here the challenge of contemporary teacher lies, that how this teaching ability is to be inculcated and developed within the artificial intelligence era. Use of artificial intelligence is one thing for gaining excellence, but being dependent on artificial intelligence is definitely going to bring down the thinking ability among students. So this is one area where we need to be very careful, that with all the use of gadgets and everything, it is very important that thinking ability develops. As I mentioned you a few problems that humanity is facing the world over at present. If we link all these problems to a single aspect, what is leading to mental health problems? What is leading to uh, lifestyle diseases? What is leading to climate change? What is leading to weapons of mass destruction? What is leading to religious terrorism? What is leading to inequality that is on rise world over? It is about the worldview. Because any human being thinks and adopts a way of life according to her or his worldview. And the worldview that has been generated by this whole process of mechanization, scientific revolution, and industrial revolution, they have created or generated a worldview where every human being is being looked as a tool, as a machine. That is a basic problem in this world. And within the industrial worldview, humans are no more than a raw material used for enhancing the productivity of the industrial world. So any human being is measured in terms of productivity,
Right.
that is dependent upon the output that individual has to do in order to survive in this industrial world. Now, this worldview alienates human being from his essential being, from his self. And this continuous alienation and moving away from the natural self of one's own being generates all sorts of problems, of which mental health is one of the biggest. Because human being is also a social animal. Human being is also an emotional animal. And human being cannot live without its emotions and its interrelations with the larger community. It has to generate a community of its own in order to actualize self-fulfillment. And here, what is most important, what I say in mostly in Sanskrit or Hindi, is prakrita anukulan. That is naturalization of human being. That is the primary requirement of the contemporary world. continuous alienation has led to dehumanized, denaturalized existence of human beings. And how to humanize humans again, and how to naturalize them. And if we can meet these twin goals of naturalization and humanization, majority of the problems that I mentioned earlier will cease to exist. And here the perspective of ashram comes into existence, because in the ashram worldview or the ashramic worldview, prakrita anukulan, that is naturalization and humanization of a being, is of primary concern. That is the pedestal on which ashram worldview has made its edifice. At the same time, means if we go into the ancient thought, it has time and again mentioned that there is no ashram without a rishi. And ashram worldview holds that every human, irrespective of caste, religion, creed, mode of worship, nationality, state, language, is a rishi. And to enhance the degree of rishiness or rishatva or arsh in a human being is ashram. Every human being, maybe there may be a difference in degrees. Some may be maybe 100%, others may be just below 1% also. So how to enhance this degree of rishiness or arsh tattva within an individual or a human being, so that the humans actualize their full potential, is what ashram is all about. Irrespective of, I'm reiterating once again, irrespective of caste, creed, culture, nationality, state, language, mode of worship, religion, gender. Now, if this worldview is held, or as it is said by yoga, that this dharana becomes part of one's existence, then there is no space for conflicts. And the major conflict that this scientific industrial revolution has brought in is conflict, not interspecies conflict, not interhuman conflict, intrahuman conflict, but conflict with the nature itself. This conflict with nature is conflict or war within one's own home, because nature is the home where we live. And if we are constantly in conflict with nature, and this nature includes the outer nature as well as the inner nature of human being, then there are bound to be problems. With outer conflict with nature, we can see climate change, weapons of mass destruction, terrorist activities, inequality. But within, when this inner conflict leads to mental health problems, and when all the diseases in human being, most of them are psychosomatic. It is the effect of mind that brings ill health in the body. So within a healthy body, a healthy mind can sustain. And it is with healthy mind that a healthy body can sustain. It is as it is said in Sanskrit, anonyashraya, that is interdependent. Mind and body are interdependent and are not separate entities as often is made out in the discipline of psychology. And within this mind and body, the another important aspect is the consciousness. Because as in Upanishads, it has been time and again reiterated that wherever there is prana, prana means life, there is pragya. Pragya can be defined in many different ways. I mean, consciousness is also pragya, wisdom is also pragya, common sense is also pragya, and our understanding is also pragya. And Vidur in Mahabharata clearly states that more than the power of armies, kings and ministers, the power of pragya is the ultimate one. And that's why many Upanishads call pragyanam Brahma. That is, pragya is Brahma, and Brahma is an indefinable and is not an entity but a state of mind that has no end. Neti, neti, neti. And this strivation towards one's own utkarsh or progress and parishkar or refinement with nature, not in conflict with nature, whether it is inner nature or outer nature, is going to give us a healthy life in terms of mind and body. And when mind and body is healthy, success and growth follows. The naturalization process brings ignition to the cognitive capacities. I was going through a research paper which clearly stated that practitioners of yoga develop higher cognitive abilities. They have a healthy body, healthy mind, and adoption of this yoga, which there are many forms of yoga. Patanjali yoga is one form, another is karma yoga, gyan yoga, bhakti yoga, lay yoga, nad yoga, kriya yoga. But if we come to just Patanjali Yoga Sutra, he has clearly stated 8 organs of yoga, that is yam, niyam, asan, dharana, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Now, one by one, if we take it, what is yam? Yam is, as it is often said in Hindi, sanyam. What is sanyam? Sanyam is restraint. And this restraint is not from any outer authority, but within the self, within the human being. So leading a life with restraint within the inner self and the outside world is naturally going to make conflict cease. Why are wars there throughout the world even after 25 years of 21st century has elapsed? Even then, we are watching wars throughout the world. And the basic principle, the first principle of ashram or yoga, that is yam, that is restraint, that is maryada, that is self-control over oneself as well as of the outer world. These conflicts would not have been there. And the second aspect of Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali states about niyam. Now, again, this niyam is not from any external authority, but from inside, and that is self-regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And this self-regulation is framing rules for our own way of living. And if all the individuals on earth start practicing niyam, that is self-regulation over their own self and framing rules for their own self, this alone can end all the conflicts that humans face in the contemporary world. And then comes asana. What is asana? There is a difference between yogasana and other forms of asana. Means other forms of asana, we can say exercises or like that. But the difference between between yogasana and other forms of asana is that yogasana will always be in rhythm, in coherence with the breathing aspect of our respiratory system. So coherence and rhythm with the exercises which we perform is yogasana. And contemporary researchers on yoga clearly state that they have, means even Indian Yoga Association has framed a protocol of yoga where they have mentioned 250 yogasanas. When I was doing my research there, I found during my PhD, maybe around 30 years back, there were 143 yogasanas that I had noted down. And later on, somebody said now it is 154, but 250 yogasanas are in record at present.
Wonderful.
But yogasana has been learned from rest of the species. Most of the yogasanas are named after one species or the another species, and there are as many species are there on planet Earth. Now, learning from this rest of the species that human cognitive abilities progressed over the period of time teaches human beings at the same time to live in coherence with the rest of the species.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are many, means most of the mental health problems which we means in the urban context, there are people in absence of the relationship with fellow human beings are more and more moving towards relationship with their pets. It is not I will not call it as an anomaly having relationship with their pet. It is part of human existence. Dogs have been the oldest friends of humankind in the evolutionary history. Then came, even cow or the animal husbandry part was there. So what I'm trying to say, that rest of the species is part of our ecosystem, and for our own harmonious psychological and physical growth, understanding the way of living through other species and living in coherence with those species is essential for our own existence.
Wonderful. Right.
Then the next part after asana is pranayama. Now, pranayama, many define that as a breathing exercise. It is not just breathing exercise. I mean, breathing is an important part. Shwas and prashwas, that is inhaling and exhaling, is often termed uh, as pran. But there are 5 prans, panch pran. And pranayam means regulation. Here again, regulation comes into existence. Regulating one's own breath with the panch prans leads to regulation or observation of one's own self in each and every cell of one's own being. Now, once one attains a level of coherence and rhythm through pranayam of one's own body and every aspect of one's body, then combined with yogasana, all the researchers are proving there is a drastic climb down on the diseases, particularly of mental problems. And even in cardiovascular diseases, most of the patients have shown very fast recovery. In 2002, United States had 2% of its population as yoga practitioners. In 2022, it went up to 16%. So it is gaining so much popularity. Yoga, that was the product of Ashram, has now gained a global popularity. And unfortunately, in India, the land that gave birth to such an miraculous and magical way of living life, we are not even serious about it. And after pranayam, what I am trying to say, that from yam, niyam, asan to pranayam, all these first four asanas, they are speaking about regulation, self-regulation, restraint. And once these 4 aspects, as in yoga it is said, one attains siddhi or one accomplishes these 4 aspects, then restraint, regulation, self-control, or as Gita says, sthiti pragya, that is being equanimous in all the situations, arrives automatically within an individual. And these 4 are bahir, that is outward modes of attaining through physicality, coherence, and a worldview where coexistence and harmony becomes a way of life. And the next 4 are antarmukhi, that is, they are for the inner world. Now, in pratyahar, it is said that the senses of humans, they naturally start withdrawing, means attaining, they become antarmukhi, that is inward looking. So senses that are outward, that are moving outwards, they become antarmukhi or inward looking. And all the 4 dimensions which I explained earlier becomes a natural process, a sahaj, swabhavik and saral, simple. It is no more a complication. It becomes so simple as if our natural breathing. And as the senses become inward looking, the state of dhyan arrives automatically. Here I want to mention that dhyan is not meditation. It is often explained as meditation. Meditation there is a Sanskrit word manan, and meditation is translation of that.
Mhm.
Dhyan is a natural, you don't have to meditate, it is not an exercise. After the 6 stages that I mentioned of yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dhyan is a natural culmination of all this. And once one is stated in dhyan, that is samadhi. So they are all interlinked. And there are yogis who have made declarations
Mhm.
that of all these 8 states that Patanjali has so well expounded, even practice of one of them will lead you to the rest, and major conflicts of the world are not just going to be over, but we ourselves will lead to a self-actualization state where our own progress, whether it is outward, that is in terms of, you may say, material terms, that
Mhm.
also is there, and the inward, that is adhyat, that also happens in this. So this blend of, as Kanad has clearly stated, that Shreyas and Shreyas is Abhyuday. He defines Dharma as the attainment of Siddhi, Shreyas and Abhyuday. These together, the Siddhi is Dharma. Now, what is Shreyas? Shreyas in Hindi, there is a term Shresht. That is what is good, what is Shubh, what is beneficial, not just to self, but rest of the humanity, is Shreyas. Nishreyas or Shreyas, what as it is stated. And on the second hand, Abhyuday means not just material development. Abhyuday means Uday of every aspect of human living and existence. And the attainment of these two is Dharma according to Kanad. Dharma is not a code of conduct, a book that dogmatizes you to live in a certain way. It is neither a scripture. Dharma is a dynamic process that keeps refining and moving towards progress as a human being learns from his or her own experiences and leads towards a better living than the living that existed in the past. One of the blunderous mistranslations of Indological literature has been translating religion as dharma and dharma as religion. And in this whole process, the meaning of dharma was lost. And we don't, because in ashram, parampara, we often state dharma. Even if you go to Bhagavad Gita,
Mhm.
there Krishna clearly defines paritranaya cha sadhuna. That is providing succor to the needy and the people who think about they are sajjan man, gentlemen, to protect them, to provide succor to them, and vinashaya cha dushkrita, and those who are harming human existence. That is dharma according to Bhagavad Gita. And
Beautiful.
Ved Vyas, he clearly states that with my both hands above, I am declaring that there is no zenith of virtue or punya than doing good to others, paropkar. And inflicting pain to the rest is another of sin, that is path. He clearly defines what is punya and what is path. Do good to others, that is punya. Harm others, that is path. And Goswami Tulsidas, in just half a couplet, has explained this very beautifully. And he says, Parhit saris dharam nahi bhai, par pida sam nahi admai. Again, there is no greater dharma than doing good to others, and there is no lower adharma than inflicting pain on others. And this is the ashram worldview, which opines a way of living. And with this way of living, as I explained in Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, one's way of life changes. One's body is not just nourished but becomes healthy. One's mind becomes stable, free from all the mental illness. And one attains pragyata, that is equanimity. And when there is equanimity or samatva, there can be no equality, whether it is in terms of material inequality or adhyatmic inequality. As I stated earlier, because every human being born on earth, whether male or female, belonging to one religion or other religion, speaking one language or the other language, living in any part of the world, every individual has the right to progress, to move forward, and the ashram way of life provides that path, that worldview, that vision, where every human being on this earth lives in coherence with just not intra-species coherence, but inter-species coherence. But also at the same time, coherence with the nature and environment, and in coherence with the known and unknown universe. And this leads to an energy within an individual that cannot be measured. And this, within this worldview, we have the capacity for our youngsters to build among them with this worldview. A world that is more safe, secure, equal, empathetic, concerned with one another's. And whatsoever I have spoken, I will just, this is not any utopian thought or a worldview which cannot be actualized.
Yes, sir.
We have seen throughout human history individuals with such capacities. And it's not that such individuals have not been there. What we need at moment is to provide it a framework, an institutionalized mechanism that leads towards it, because everyone on this earth today has a very bleak assessment about the future. Uncertainty looms large, and conflicts are growing by each passing day. We cannot make our generations to come for such a future, and thus this responsibility particularly bestows upon the teachers who are educating and training the young minds to cultivate within them a way of living that is not in conflict with nature, but in coherence with nature. And with this way of living, the problems which I stated earlier, whether it is of climate change, whether it is of weapons of mass destruction, whether it is of inequality, whether it is of religious terrorism, they all just not cease, but above all, the mental problems, the well-being of human being, that is actualized. And the dream of having a peaceful coexistence throughout the world among the sentient beings can be realized through this vision and worldview, not just healthy mind and body, but along with success and growth, because dharma, arth, kam, moksha, all these four pedestals with this ashramic worldview get realized, where dharma again I'll say means doing good to others, and adharma is harming others. If this comes into, then material development or earth or security of the uh, of every human being on earth gets guaranteed by itself. Calm, that is realizations of one's desires, is also an essential part of a coherent human living, is also there. And moksha, that is continuous strivation for excellence, for moving ahead, is also realized in this ashramic worldview. So, for a better future for the generations to come, for a way of living that is sustainable for each and every species as well as earth itself, because we have to think in terms of this, whether our way of living can sustain earth or not. And I'm very hopeful, because this ashramic worldview has, whether it is in the form of yoga in rest of the world, or different ways of expressing it, whether I have been to Russia, I have seen there also similar, in South Africa also similar problems are being seen, and people are looking forward towards a way of life that is not just sustainable, but actualizes their full potential and leads towards a progress and harmonious existence. Thank you very much. Now, questions, if we can lead to discussion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Such a wonderful, such a deep. I mean, आपने इतने क्रिस्प तरीके से इतनी वाइडर नॉलेज के बारे में हम लोगों को बताया सर. इट वाज वंडरफुल. और मेरा तो ये दिल कर रहा था कि बस आप बोलते जाएं और हम लोग इसको सुनते जाएं, जिस तरह से आप माइन्यूट चीजों को एक्सप्लेन कर रहे थे, एंड इट्स इम्प्लीकेशन इन आवर लाइफ एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली द फ्यूचर ऑफ दिस अर्थ. It reflects your concern and also the passion and the knowledge of the subject that you have with the subject that you're attached to, the work that you're attached to. और जब मैं आपको सुन रही थी सर, तो वाकई कई ऐसी चीजें हैं हमारी जिंदगी में जिसे हम बहुत अमूमन हम बहुत मामूली मानते हैं. वी थिंक दे आर वेरी, दे आर नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट, बट येस दे आर वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट. जिस तरह से आपने एक्सप्लेन किया कि इट्स द वे ऑफ लाइफ, इट्स ऑल्सो how we are going to make it into an inner realization. I am a pet lover, and I really appreciate what you said about the importance of connecting with another species. I think that is very important. आप देखिए कि कोविड में एक जो माइक्रोस्कोपिक वायरस था, उसने पूरी दुनिया को हमें मजबूर पूरी दुनिया को मजबूर कर दिया कि वो अंदर रहे, बाहर ना निकले. And it was not something. So how important it is to even connect with the other species and a coherent kind of an approach towards Mother Earth. It was beautifully put. Sir, my questions. Dear participants, you can put in your questions, and also if somebody wants to speak directly and ask directly to Sir, we'll just unmute you. So please let me know in the chat box.
सर एक
मैं
क्वेश्चन है मेरा।
भगत सिंह जी, आप हाँ, आप पूछिए क्वेश्चन। पहले अपने को इंट्रोड्यूस करिए प्लीज, वेयर यू आर फ्रॉम, व्हाट, एंड देन प्लीज आप अपना
मेरा
कैमरा
नाम
ऑन कर सकते
डॉक्टर भगत भाकुनी है
हैं। ओके,
एंड मैं किरोड़ीमल कॉलेज से हूँ।
प्लीज पूछिए अपना प्रश्न भगत जी।
हाँ सर, मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि ये अब हम जितना भी ये विवाद विवाद कर रहे हैं, लेक्चर कर रहे हैं, ये हिंदी में क्यों नहीं? हमारा जो एफडीपी का टॉपिक है वो हिंदी में क्यों नहीं? यहाँ तक कि हमारे दोनों प्रिंसिपल भी हिंदी के हैं, फिर भी न, और यहाँ तक कि जो हमें शेड्यूल भी मिलता है वो भी सबका नाम इंग्लिश में ही होता है।
भगत जी भगत जी, आपका अगर कोई सर के टॉपिक से रिलेटेड
हाँ, मेरा
सवाल है तो
सर के टॉपिक
पूछिए।
से रिलेटेड है, जैसे कि अभी अगर हम देख रहे हैं, जहाँ तक कि पेट के रिलेटेड मेरा क्वेश्चन है, तो जेन्युइन क्वेश्चन था।
हाँ, आप अपना
पेट के
सवाल जो
रिलेटेड मेरा
टॉपिक
क्वेश्चन
है
है।
उससे उससे रिलेटेड पूछिए। ये
हाँ,
टेक्नोलॉजी, हाँ
पेट के
प्लीज
रिलेटेड मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि
प्लीज।
जनरली अभी हमने रिसेंटली देखा है कि रेबीज के केसेस बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ रहे हैं। कि रिसेंटली एक नेशनल लेवल कबड्डी प्लेयर की भी डेथ हो गई है रेबीज की वजह से। तो कब तक मतलब ये स्ट्रे डॉग्स और कब तक ये हमारे वातावरण में रहेंगे? क्योंकि ये स्ट्रे डॉग्स वातावरण को नहीं, खुले में वो शौच करते हैं, जिससे जो शौच है वो हमारा सारा मदर अर्थ है। खुले में मनुष्य को मना है कि शौच करना मना है, पर जितने
भगत
भी
जी,
स्ट्रे डॉग्स हैं ये खुले में
ओके,
शौच करते हैं, और सब वो जो गंदगी है मदर अर्थ को जाती है, और जिससे
ठीक
हमारा
है,
वातावरण पॉल्यूट होता है।
ठीक है, ठीक
तो
है,
किस
ठीक
तरह
है।
का रेबीज, ऊपर से रेबीज भी बहुत बढ़ रहा है कि हर बार साइंस केमिस्ट्री आ जाके वैक्सीन।
आपका प्रश्न क्या है भगत जी? प्लीज आप अपने प्रश्न में आइए।
मेरा ये प्रश्न है कि किस तरह से इन
हाँ,
स्ट्रे डॉग्स को हम वातावरण से हटाएंगे, और किस तरह से स्वच्छ, किसी भी विकसित देश में इस सड़कों पे इस तरह से ये स्ट्रे डॉग्स नहीं घूमते हैं, चाहे आप
ठीक
चाइना
है,
देख
ठीक
लीजिए,
है,
चाहे
थैंक
आप
यू,
जर्मनी देख लीजिए।
थैंक यू
तो
भगत जी,
इसमें मैं
थैंक यू। हाँ हाँ, प्लीज पुष्कर जी, डॉक्टर पुष्कर, यस।
कहूंगा कि भगत जी, ऐसा है कि हमने जो है, जो रेस्ट ऑफ द स्पीशीज हैं उसको ह्यूमन बीइंग्स ने कैप्चर कर लिया है। उनके रहने के लिए जगह ही नहीं बची, वो जाएंगे कहाँ? तो पहले तो हमें ये सुनिश्चित करना होगा कि जितनी भी विभिन्न प्रकार की स्पीशीज हैं, और बायोडाइवर्सिटी बहुत तेजी से घट रही है, इस बायोडाइवर्सिटी के घटने से जो समस्याएं उत्पन्न हो रही हैं उसका अंदाजा भी विज्ञान नहीं, साइंस नहीं लगा पा रहा है आज के समय में। जैसे मैं अभी पढ़ रहा था ओशिनोग्राफी में, तो वहां पता चला कि मिलियंस ईयर्स में सर्टेन फॉर्मेशंस बने अंडर द सी, डीप सी में, और उसको कुछ घंटों में ही आदमी ने बर्बाद कर दिया। अब उसका लार्जर इकोसिस्टम से क्या संबंध है, इसका ज्ञान ही नहीं है। तो हम जो दूसरों को स्पेस प्रोवाइड करने के, अगर यही जो ये तो आपने केवल जो है रेबीज की बात की, तमाम तरह के जो जीव हैं, वो चाहे बंदर हो या पशु पक्षी हो, शेर हो, बाघ हो, इन सब का अपना, उनका भी तो इस पृथ्वी पर उतना ही अधिकार है जितना ह्यूमन बीइंग का है। वो कहाँ जाए, वो कहाँ रहे, इस पे भी हमें सोचना चाहिए। और दूसरा जो इसमें सबसे बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण है, वो मैंने कहा था कि आश्रम जो है वो प्रकृतानुकूलन है, यानी कि प्रकृति के निकट जाने की बात है, प्रकृति से समन्वय स्थापित करने की बात है। और यदि हम पृथ्वी को जीतने के बजाय पृथ्वी के साथ जीने की कला सीखने लगे, तो इस तरह की घटनाओं में कमी आएगी। जहां तक व्याधि का प्रश्न है, यानी कि जैसा कि आपने कहा कि जो डिजीज फैल रहे हैं, तो जिस दिन किसी भी जीव का जन्म हुआ उसी दिन उसका मरण भी निश्चित हो गया। ये प्रकृति का हिस्सा है। और मरण जो है, वो मृत्यु जो है, वो अपने बहाने ढूंढती है, और उसमें व्याधि सबसे बड़ा बहाना होता है उसको प्रकृति के इसको करने। इसके साथ भी जीना हमको सीखना होगा। प्रश्न ये है कि हम सहज, स्वाभाविक और स्वस्थ जीवन जितना जिएंगे, उतना ही हमारे उत्कर्ष और परिष्कार में वो अपनी एक भूमिका निभाएगा, और उतना ही शेष जीवों को भी उनके जीने का अधिकार उनको देगा, और पूरी प्रकृति का समवाय, संतुलन या इकोसिस्टम जो आप कहते हैं, ये बना रहेगा। और इससे हम बेहतर भविष्य की ओर बढ़ सकते हैं। मैं इस बात की, भगत जी की इस बात से सहमत हूं कि हमें प्रयास करना चाहिए कि भारतीय भाषाओं में ही हमारे जो उद्बोधन हो या कार्यक्रम हो वो अधिकतर होने चाहिए, क्योंकि भारतीय भाषाओं को ही अंग्रेजी की अपेक्षा ज्यादातर लोग समझते हैं। मैं इस बात से सहमत हूँ।
नहीं, बिल्कुल
जी।
सर, आप ठीक कह रहे हैं। मुझे लगता है उन्हें कोई कंफ्यूजन हुआ है, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ जो स्पीकर्स हैं वो भारतीय भाषाओं में भी आए हैं और आएंगे आगे भी। और हमारा जो एक प्रोटोकॉल है, हम उसको प्रॉपर फॉलो कर रहे हैं। तो मे बी उनकी कुछ ज्यादा वो है, लेकिन इवन आई अग्री विथ यू, जैसा कि सर आपने कहा। सर, हम प्रश्न ले लेते हैं। ये प्रश्न है डॉक्टर माधव गोपाल जी का। ये माधव गोपाल जी, आप पूछना चाहेंगे? कैन आई जस्ट अनम्यूट यू, या मैं आपका प्रश्न पढ़ देती हूँ। माधव गोपाल जी कह रहे हैं, इफ द वर्ड रिलीजन इज टू बी ट्रांसलेटेड इनटू इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस, देन व्हाट वुड बी एन अप्रोप्रिएट वर्ड? अगर
या
वेरी
इट्स अ वेरी
इंटरेस्टिंग।
गुड क्वेश्चन, वेरी
यस
गुड क्वेश्चन।
सर, मैं बता दूं, माधव जी हमारे संस्कृत डिपार्टमेंट में हैं। मैं संस्कृत डिपार्टमेंट की फैकल्टी हूँ, डॉक्टर माधव गोपाल जी।
मैं इसका जवाब हिंदी में ही दे रहा हूं, जब वो
बिल्कुल
संस्कृत
सर।
के समझ पाएंगे। ऐसा है कि आ, आप संस्कृत के हैं तो जानते ही होंगे कि परा, पश्यंति, मध्यमा और वैखरी वाक के 4 रूप भर्तृहरि ने पाणिनि और पतंजलि का जो महाभाष्य है उसकी व्याख्या में बताए। अब परा तो सभी प्राणियों में, क्योंकि हर प्राणी का अपना स्वर होता है, जैसे पशु पक्षी हैं उनका भी है, तो परा सब में समान है। पश्यंत यानी कि जो दिखता है, जो दृश्य है, पश्यंत यानी देखने से उसका अर्थ है। और मध्यमा उसका स्ट्रक्चरेशन, जो शब्द या जो हम उसको रूप देते हैं वह मध्यमा में होता है। और वैखरी जो हम बोलते हैं, जो हम कहते हैं, तो जो भी भिन्नताएं हैं वो अधिकतर मध्यमा और वैखरी में हैं। और वैखरी हर परंपरा की अपने परंपरा के अनुसार पदबंध या शब्द गढ़ती है। और इसमें रिलीजन शब्द जो गढ़ा गया, जिस भी परंपरा में गढ़ा गया, उसने अपनी जो वहां की उस परंपरा को व्याख्यायित करने के लिए या व्याकृत करने के लिए जो उनको शब्द समझ में आया, पदबंध समझ में आया, उसे रिलीजन कहा। और धर्म इसी प्रकार से यह पदबंध या शब्द जो है यह रूप धारण करता है, जिसकी व्याख्या लंबे चौड़े रूप में हो सकती है। अब प्रश्न आपका यह है कि रिलीजन का यदि ट्रांसलेशन धर्म नहीं है तो फिर क्या है? जिस प्रकार धर्म, ये इनको अनम्यूट कर दीजिए आप, विवेकानंद शर्मा जी को, वो कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं। जिस प्रकार
हाँ,
धर्म का
करते हैं।
ट्रांसलेशन रिलीजन नहीं है या संस्कृत के अतिरिक्त किसी अन्य भाषा में धर्म का अनुवाद प्राप्त नहीं होता है, उसी प्रकार रिलीजन का अनुवाद भी विशेषकर संस्कृत और हिंदी या भारतीय भाषाओं के वांग्मय में प्राप्त नहीं होता है। अब मूल अंतर क्या है धर्म और रिलीजन पर, हम इस पे आ जाते हैं। धर्म को तो मैंने पहले ही आपके सामने व्याख्यायित कर दिया, उसको मैं पुनः नहीं दोहराना चाहता हूं। लेकिन अब रिलीजन पर आ जाए, तो रिलीजन को पिछले 200 वर्ष से अधिक, और भी पहले से, लेकिन समाज शास्त्रियों ने, सोशियोलॉजिस्ट ने उसको स्टडी करना शुरू किया 150-200 साल से। और वे जिस परिभाषा पर आए हैं उसमें वे कहते हैं कि रिलीजन जो है एक बिलीफ सिस्टम है, यानी कि हम कुछ चीजों को मान लेते हैं और उसके आधार पर, चाहे वो मानना किसी ईश्वर में हो, किसी किताब में हो, किसी पूजा पद्धति में हो, वह रिलीजन कहलाता है। तो कई लोगों ने सुझाया कि भाई रिलीजन का ट्रांसलेशन फिर पंथ हो सकता है या संप्रदाय हो सकता है। अब पंथ भी नहीं है उसका ट्रांसलेशन। उसका कारण यह है कि पंथ जो है वो पथ यानी कि पाथवे का साइन है, सिंबल है। और पाथवे या पंथ जो है वो सीकिंग है। सीकिंग का मतलब हम ढूंढ रहे हैं, हम कुछ खोज रहे हैं, और ईश्वर की खोज ये अधिकतर पंथों का मार्ग बन गया। या ईश्वर के साथ एकाकार हो जाना, या स्वयं ईश्वर हो जाना, जैसा कि शिवोहम कहा जाता है, यह पंथ हो गया। और संप्रदाय जो है वो आचार्य परंपरा को कहते हैं, जिसका सीधा संबंध विद्या से है, नॉलेज सिस्टम से है। तो नॉलेज सिस्टम का या विद्या का एक आचार्य से शिष्य, और फिर वह शिष्य आचार्य हो जाता है, और फिर आगे इस प्रकार से जो आचार्य परंपरा है किसी मत के अनुसार, सब आचार्य परंपरा नहीं, जिस आचार्य परंपरा में मत कोई प्रतिपादित होता है वह संप्रदाय हो जाता है। अब रिलीजन यहां भी नहीं फिट बैठता है, क्योंकि रिलीजन में कोई ऐसी आचार्य, रिलीजन बिलीफ सिस्टम है, और पंथ जो है वो सीकिंग है, रिलीजन बिलीविंग है। तो बिलीफ सिस्टम के आधार पर जो जीवन शैली रची जाती है वह रिलीजन हो जाती है। जैसे किसी एक ग्रंथ पर आपका विश्वास है और उस ग्रंथ के अनुसार आप जीने लगे, वह रिलीजन हो जाता है। और उसमें जो जो पुस्तक होती है या ग्रंथ होती है वह अधिकतर स्थानों पर जो जिस सर्वोच्च सत्ता पर उसके अनुयायियों का विश्वास होता है, जिसको गॉड कह लें या ईश्वर कह लें या अल्लाह कह लें, उस पर जिसका विश्वास है वह उसकी वाणी समझी जाती है एक पुस्तक। और उस पुस्तक को इंटरप्रेट करना या ये व्याख्यायित करने का काम क्लर्गी का होता है, और लेटी यानी कि सामान्य जनमानस उसको फॉलो करता है। यह रिलीजन कहलाता है। और यह रिलीजन जो है यह एक कम्युनिटी ऑफ फेथफुल्स भी, जबकि धर्म, पंथ या संप्रदाय में यह बातें आपको नहीं मिलेंगी। वो एक प्रकार से बिल्कुल पृथक धारणा है। इसलिए मुझे अभी तक, यदि आपको कहीं समझ में आए, तो मुझे रिलीजन शब्द का कोई अगर अनुवाद, क्योंकि मैं अपने लेखनों में जब देवनागरी में भी लिखता हूं रिलीजन, तो मैं रिलीजन लिखता हूं, र पे छोटी की मात्रा, ल पे बड़ी की मात्रा, ज और न, रिलीजन, ताकि किसी प्रकार का कोई जो है एम्बिग्विटी ना रहे, कोई संशय ना रहे।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। काफी प्रश्न आ रहे हैं, उसके साथ साथ आपके लेक्चर के लिए हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स थैंक यू भी कह रहे हैं कि धन्यवाद सर। सर नसीब कुमार भगत जी, आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे थे? यू हैव रेज्ड योर, बी वेरी शॉर्ट एंड क्विक सो दैट, क्योंकि और भी प्रश्न लेना है हमको। थैंक यू नसीब जी।
थैंक यू मैम। सर सबसे पहले तो आप बधाई के पात्र हैं, आपने इतना विस्तार से बताया हमें। एक मिनट, मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि ये योग के आपने सूत्र बताए हैं या कंपोनेंट बताए हैं, तो इनको अगर प्रैक्टिकली अपनी लाइफ में अडॉप्ट करना हो, क्या इसी सीक्वेंस में करना है? मेरा अपना ये है कि मैंने प्राणायाम को सेलेक्ट किया था, तो मुझे प्लीज थोड़ा ये आप गाइड करें इसमें।
आपने बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न किया। मैंने बहुत पासिंगली इस बात को कहा था। पासिंगली मैंने ये कहा था कि ये जो 8 यंग अंग हैं, इन 8 यंग अंगों में यम के भी कई भाग हैं, नियम के भी कई भाग हैं, आसन के भी, प्राणायाम के भी, प्रत्याहार के भी। ध्यान में ही मुझे एक बहुत ही यंग योग टीचर ने, जो नेशनल लेवल पर योग स्पोर्ट्स को करती हैं, अभी मुश्किल से 22-23 वर्ष की एक योग की प्रैक्टिशनर है, उन्होंने बताया कि 112 प्रकार के ध्यान उन्हें मालूम है। तो ध्यान के भी कई प्रकार। इसमें है क्या कि योग जो है इसका सीधा अर्थ होता है जुड़ना, युक्त होना, जोड़ना। ठीक है। अब इस योग यानी युक्ति को एक से दो, जैसे वो कहते हैं ना, ज्योत से ज्योत जगाते चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो, तो एक दूसरे से कनेक्ट स्थापित करते चले जाना, यही योग मार्ग की प्रगति है। यम नियम आसन प्राणायाम प्रत्याहार धारणा ध्यान समाधि, ये सब जब योग एक साथ हो जाते हैं तो वो समाधि की। अब इसमें आपने कहा कि कोई एक करके, मैंने पहले भी कहा था कि न केवल इन अष्टांग में बल्कि इन अष्टांग के भी जो भाग है वहां से भी अगर कोई शुरू करता है तो शेष की सिद्धियां स्वयं स्पॉन्टेनियसली उसके पास आने लगती है। कैसे? जैसे आपने प्राणायाम से आपने कहा कि आपने प्राणायाम से शुरू किया। अब आप जब प्राणायाम करते हैं तो उस प्राणायाम में श्वास प्रश्वास पर ध्यान जाता है, स्वाभाविक ढंग से जाता है। और जैसे ही आपका ध्यान, आपका प्रत्याहार होता है, आप अंतर्मुखी होते हैं, वैसे ही आप अपने से सेल्फ के साथ एक कनेक्ट स्थापित कर लेते हैं। आप स्वयं को सुनने लगते हैं। और ये जो सेल्फ कम्युनिकेशन है, ये सेल्फ कम्युनिकेशन यानी कि स्वयं से संवाद स्थापित होते ही आगे का मार्ग आपको अपने आप दिखाई पड़ने लगता है, क्योंकि स्वयं अपने भीतर से आपको पता लगता है क्या है। जैसे आप प्राणायाम कर रहे हैं, ध्यान की स्थिति में है, आपको लगा मेरे एक पैर में कहीं पर कुछ समस्या लग रही है, तुरंत आप उसके आसन की तरफ चले जाएंगे। यदि आप अपने उस स्वर को नकारेंगे नहीं। हम करते क्या है कि सुनने के बजाय कई बार इग्नोर करने लगते हैं। इसलिए स्वयं का शरीर भी बोलता है, देह बोलती है, उसको सुनना यह भी योग है। और जब आप उसको सुनने लगेंगे तो योग की जितनी भी धारणा, केवल मैं अष्टांग योग की नहीं बात कर रहा हूं, क्रिया योग में है, आप लय योग में है, नाद योग में है, हठ योग में है, किस मंत्र योग में है, ज्ञान योग में है, भक्ति योग में है, कर्म योग में है, किसी भी योग की किसी भी विधा या धारा में हो, बाकी शेष आपको स्वयं प्रकट होने लगता है। बस करना इतना ही है कि अपने भीतर के स्वर को सुनते रहना है, उसको नकारना नहीं, तो अपने आप बाकी स्थितियां प्रकट हो जाती हैं। कोई भी कहीं से भी शुरू कर सकता है, इसमें कोई ऐसी बाध्यता नहीं है। ये तो महर्षि पतंजलि ने, क्योंकि इससे महर्षि पतंजलि से पहले योग नहीं था ऐसा नहीं है, योग पहले से था, लेकिन वो सामान्य लोगों को कुछ बातें इसकी समझ में आ जाएं, उनको सूत्र रूप में कह दिया कि ऐसा ऐसा है। उन्होंने कोई कोडिफाई नहीं किया है योग, जस्ट इंडिकेटर्स रख दिए हैं। और आपको ये आश्चर्य होगा कि सूत्र लिटरेचर जितना है, उन सूत्र लिटरेचर्स पर आपको भाष्य और वार्तिक मिल जाएंगे बहुत सारे, चाहे वो ब्रह्म सूत्र हो या न्याय सूत्र हो या पाणिनि की अष्टाध्यायी हो, सब पे आपको भाष्य मिलेंगे, वार्तिक मिलेंगे, टीका टिप्पणियां मिलेंगी। लेकिन योग पर भाष्य या वार्तिक अभी तक नहीं रचा जा चुका। कारण उसके पीछे सबसे बड़ा यह है कि हर योगी का, हर साधक का मार्ग स्वयं उसका अपना होता है। उसका कारण क्या है कि मेरे संस्कार, आपके संस्कार, किसी अन्य के संस्कार, संस्कार का मतलब हुआ जो आचार विचार और व्यवहार में ठहर जाता है, वह संस्कार है। और हम सब के संस्कार भिन्न भिन्न हैं, इसलिए हम सब का मार्ग साधना का भिन्न भिन्न होता है। हम अपने आप को सुनते जाएं, दूसरे के अनुभव से सीख सकते हैं, उससे तुलना कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उसी के मार्ग को अडॉप्ट करें उससे नहीं आगे बढ़ सकते। हमें अपने स्वयं का स्वर सुनते हुए आगे बढ़ते रहना है, यही योग में या साधक के लिए सही बताया।
वेरी नाइसली पुट सर। कुछ क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं, हम पढ़ देते हैं सर, बिकॉज एंड बाय द टाइम इफ एनीबडी वांट्स टू स्पीक। प्रतीक जी ने काफी देर से हाथ रेज किया हुआ है, प्रतीक जी को अनम्यूट कर दीजिए, उसके बाद विकास शर्मा जी को क्विकली, बिकॉज या वी हैव, यस प्रतीक जी प्लीज गो अहेड क्विकली।
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते,
वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। पुष्कर सर को सुनना सुखद अनुभव रहता है, और इससे पहले भी हमने तीन मूर्ति और कई जगह पे आपको सुना है सर। एक बार फिर आपको सुनने का मौका मिला, इसलिए धन्यवाद। सर एक बात, अभी हम लोग रिलीजन और धर्म पे कर रहे थे, और मैं भी इससे सहमत नहीं हूं कि आप उसको हम ट्रांसलेट कर सकें रिलीजन को धर्म के रूप में। लेकिन मेरी जिज्ञासा ये है जानने की कि जब अशोक की हम बात करते हैं भारतीय इतिहास में, और उनसे संबंधित जब अशोक के धम्म की नीति की बात करते हैं, तो वहां पे रिलीजियस बिलीफ का बात आता है। अगर रिलीजन जो है वो एक बिलीफ सिस्टम है, जैसा कि आप अभी चर्चा कर रहे थे, और मैं भी ये मानता हूं, बिल्कुल सहमत हूं जो बात आप कह रहे हैं, तो फिर उसके धम्म को, प्राकृत में जिसको धम्म कहते हैं, धर्म क्यों कहा जाता है? क्योंकि उसका भी तो बिलीफ सिस्टम है कि बड़ों के प्रति सम्मान, हिंसा ना करना, तमाम चीज। अभी रिसेंटली हालांकि टीएस रुक्मणी ने भी लिखा कि धर्म और रिलीजन में किस प्रकार से एक बड़ा अंतर है, और उन्होंने ये भी बताने की कोशिश की कि महाभारत जैसे ग्रंथ में ये कहा गया कि जो धारण करते हैं वही धर्म है। और मैं गलत नहीं हूं तो मेरे सामने भी रिसेंटली एक
बिल्कुल
किताब
बिल्कुल।
आई है पैट्रिक ओलिवाइल की, वो भी मैं भी देख रहा था। उन्होंने भी इन बातों पे काफी जोर दिया है। तो अगर उसका वो बिलीफ सिस्टम है तो उसको धर्म से जोड़ के क्यों देखा जाना? क्योंकि उसको आप
नहीं,
कहीं ना कहीं अगर इस तरह से लेके जा रहे हैं तो बुद्धिज्म का जो प्रोपेगेशन है पूरा, उसके और कहीं
मैं
ना कहीं इशारा है। तो इस पे अगर जरा
बहुत
आप
बहुत
अपना
अच्छा।
विचार अगर दें।
ठीक जी, आपका धन्यवाद, आपने इतना सुंदर प्रश्न किया। इसमें पहली चीज तो मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि धर्म शब्द पर आपने कई लोगों का हिस्ट्री ऑफ धर्मशास्त्र लिखी है पांडुरंग वामन काणा ने, जिसको
कहानी।
भंडार ओरिएंट रिसर्च
जी।
इंस्टीट्यूट ने, वो 5 वॉल्यूम्स 6 वॉल्यूम्स कहते हैं, वो एक तरह से एनसाइक्लोपीडिया ही है। मेरा ये कहना है कि धर्म की भिन्न भिन्न व्याख्याएं और भिन्न भिन्न इंटरप्रिटेशंस अगर हम करने जाएंगे तो कई एनसाइक्लोपीडिया भी छोटी पड़ जाएंगी। तो धर्म शब्द जो है उसका मैंने एक मतलब जो व्यवहारिक ट्रांसलेशन है, जो जन सामान्य को उसकी जो है जटिलताओं में न जाकर उसका जो सरल स्वरूप है, उसको मैंने इस व्याख्यान में अपने रखा। अब आप कह रहे हैं कि जब रिलीजन बिलीफ सिस्टम है तो उस नाते से बौद्ध मत भी जो है एक प्रकार का रिलीजन हो जाता है। मैं आपकी इस कथन से सहमत नहीं, क्योंकि बौद्ध मत का जो आधार है वो यहां से शुरू होता है, जिसमें भगवान बुद्ध ने कहा 4 आर्य सत्य जिसको कहे जाते हैं, या 4 नोबल ट्रुथ्स जिसको कहे जाते हैं। दुख है, दुख का कारण है, दुख के कारण का निवारण है, और दुख के कारण के निवारण का मार्ग है। ठीक है, अब वो मार्ग बता रहे हैं जिसको हम अष्ट मार्ग कहते हैं, 8 मार्ग, जिसमें आपने बताया कि अध्यात्म।
Please unmute yourself.
मैं इसको खत्म कर लूं, फिर आप आए इस पे, फिर आप पर आता हूं। अब नहीं तो ये इसमें वो हो जाएगा, विसंगति आएगी। अब ये जो 8 मार्ग बताए, इन 8 मार्ग को बताने के बाद बुद्ध कहते हैं कि मूल में, किसी भी दुख के मूल में तृष्णा है। ठीक है, और इस तृष्णा से मुक्त होना ही निर्वाण। ये हम अगर 3-4 लाइनों में अगर समअप करना चाहें तो ये निकल कर आता है। अब प्रश्न ये है कि बुद्ध यहां मार्ग बतला रहे हैं, डॉगमा नहीं स्थापित कर रहे हैं कि ये इस तरह से चलना है, इसलिए वो रिलीजन से अलग हो जाता है, बौद्ध पंथ हो जाता है, एक मार्ग है। और उसमें वो अष्टांग मार्ग की बात करते हैं, जो 8 मार्ग उन्होंने बताए, और फिर इसकी परिणति निर्वाण में बताते हैं। अब इसमें अगर आप बौद्ध की आचार्य परंपरा या संप्रदायों पर चले जाएं, जिसमें सबसे बड़े दार्शनिक और चिंतक और वो हुए, वो नागार्जुन। और नागार्जुन इस आर्ग्यूमेंट को जब आगे ले जाते हैं तो वह क्षणवाद से होते हुए शून्यवाद तक पहुंच जाते हैं। आप समझ रहे हैं? और जब आप शून्य की स्थिति में, तो फिर वहां न तो कोई रूल रह जाता है, न रेगुलेशन रह जाता है। व्यक्ति अपनी समझ में स्थिति, बौद्ध आचार्यों से आप बात करेंगे तो अल्टीमेटली वो कहते हैं इस बात की समझ ही हो जाना सबसे बड़ी चीज है, जिसको मैंने प्रज्ञा कहा। और इसको शंकराचार्य ने कहा कि जब यह प्रज्ञा अखिल जगत के साथ समन्वित हो जाती है तो इस व्यक्ति अहम ब्रह्मास्मि की स्थिति में पहुंच जाता है, यानी कि दृष्ट अदृष्ट जो कुछ भी है वह सब मैं ही हूं। और मैं ही हूं नहीं, उसको उपनिषद फिर कहते हैं, जिसमें श्वेत केतु को उनके पिता उद्दालक कहते हैं, तत्वमसि, तुम भी हो। जस्ट मैं ही नहीं हूं, तुम भी हो।
सर
वो अहम, तो ये इस प्रकार से इनका विकास हुआ है। और ये चाहे वो आप बौद्ध मत ले लीजिए, अद्वैत मत ले लीजिए, विशिष्टाद्वैत मत ले लीजिए, न्याय के विभिन्न मत ले लीजिए, वैशेषिक, योग, सांख्य, इन सब को ले लीजिए, इन सब के बीच में हजारों वर्ष तक आपस में निरंतर संवाद होता रहा है, शास्त्रार्थ होता रहा है, जिसको मैं कई बार कहता हूं वाद संवाद परंपरा। बिना अद्वैत के आप बौद्ध मत की कल्पना नहीं कर सकते, सॉरी, बिना न्याय के आप अद्वैत की कल्पना नहीं कर सकते, बिना बौद्ध के जैन की कल्पना नहीं कर सकते, आरहत मत की, बिना आरहत के आप जो है विशिष्टाद्वैत की कल्पना। सभी मतों ने एक दूसरे से हजारों वर्ष तक वाद संवाद के माध्यम से एक दूसरे का परिष्कार किया है और उत्कर्ष को प्राप्त हुए। नन ऑफ देम आर डॉग, कहीं डॉगमा आपको नहीं।
नहीं, आपने सर इस बात को बहुत खूबसूरती से रखा। थैंक यू प्रतीक जी, आपका सवाल भी बहुत अच्छा था और सर ने उसको इतने अच्छे से समझाया हम लोगों को और आपको भी धन्यवाद सर। सर बहुत प्रश्न आ रहे हैं, मैं जल्दी से, उससे पहले मैं प्रश्न ये पढ़ लूं। विकास जी, आप कुछ, डॉक्टर विकास शर्मा पूछना चाह रहे थे, प्लीज बी वेरी क्विक बिकॉज वी हैव नेक्स्ट सेशन एंड सर के लिए और भी 2 प्रश्न हैं। विकास जी प्लीज गो अहेड, डॉक्टर विकास शर्मा प्लीज
हेलो,
पूछिए।
आवाज? जी
हाँ
जी
हाँ प्लीज।
विकास,
नमस्कार सर। सर
नमस्कार।
जी जी जी, अभी आपने पंथ की बात की थी, धर्म और पंथ के अर्थों में कुछ हम लोग गए थे। तो पंथ में आपने कहा था कि पंथ शब्द जो है उस पर आप विश्वास नहीं करते, इसलिए क्योंकि पंथ शब्द जो है वो सीकिंग पर आधारित है, जबकि हिंदू
हाँ
धर्म जो है सीकिंग सीकिंग
हाँ,
सीकिंग।
सिक्किम जी।
तो जबकि हिंदू धर्म जो है बिलीफ सिस्टम पे है। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि जो भी अल्प ज्ञान है मुझे, कि जो सीकिंग हिंदू धर्म जो है वो प्योरली सीकिंग पर ही है बेस्ड। क्योंकि जब हम बात करते हैं यम यवी संवाद की बात करते हैं, यम नचिकेता संवाद की बात करते हैं, शिव सूत्र की बात करते हैं, उसमें जो है वो आपस में क्या संवादी संवाद है, यानी एक दूसरे से प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं और सीख कर रहे हैं। जहां तक हम बात करेंगे ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश या इन सब की हम देवताओं की बात करें, तो हम देखेंगे कि अगर हम ऋग्वेद में चले जाते हैं तो ऋग्वेद में कहीं पर भी ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश का जिक्र नहीं है। वहां पर
विकास जी
जी
जल्दी जल्दी अपना प्रश्न पूछिए, 2 लोग और वेट कर रहे हैं।
देवी देवताओं की पूजा की गई है जो प्रत्यक्ष दिखाई देते हैं। तो इसका मतलब कि वहां भी बिलीफ सिस्टम नहीं था, बीच में कहीं आके हम बिलीफ सिस्टम में पड़े हैं। तो इनिशियली देखा जाए तो हिंदू धर्म, अगर हम ऋग्वेद को ले लें तो इनिशियली हिंदू धर्म जो है वो बिलीफ सिस्टम पे आधारित नहीं है। उस हिसाब से ये सीकिंग पर ही बेस्ड है, क्योंकि हम सीख करके ही हमने, और फिर उसके बाद आपने ये भी कहा कि तमाम तरह के शास्त्रार्थ हुए, जिसमें कि मंडन मिश्र और इनका शास्त्रार्थ बहुत प्रसिद्ध है, शंकराचार्य जी का, शंकराचार्य जी का अद्वैत वेदांत वेदांत जो है, उसके साथ कई सारे और वेदांत भी हैं, जिसमें द्वैताद्वैत भी है, विशुद्ध द्वैत भी है। तो एक से उस पर कोई भी जो है एक पर नहीं आ पाए हैं। तो मेरा ये प्रश्न आपसे है कि जो आप ये कह रहे थे बिलीफ सिस्टम पर आधारित है और सीकिंग पर नहीं है, क्या ये सही है?
वही तो मैं कह रहा हूं। देखिए
नहीं
इसमें ऐसा है, वही तो मैंने जो आपने कहा उसी को मैंने कहा, उसी को आपने सम अप कर दिया। देखिए इसमें एक जो नई बात आप नया डायमेंशन लाए, वो आप देवी देवताओं के विषय में भी लाए, जैसे ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश। अब ऋग्वेद में हम चले जाएं तो उसमें स्तुति की गई है देवताओं की, इंद्र की है स्तुति, उसमें जो है रुद्र की स्तुति है, वरुण की स्तुति है, अग्नि की स्तुति है, विश्वदेवा की स्तुति। इस प्रकार से कई प्रकार के देवता हैं, और किसी भी मंत्र को ऋग्वेद में आपको देखना है तो उसका दृष्टा ऋषि कौन है, उसका देवता कौन है, उसका छंद कौन है, और उसका विनियोग क्या है। इसमें विनियोग पर सबसे अधिक महत्व है। विनियोग का मतलब इसको आप कैसे प्रयुक्त करते हैं, कैसे इसे प्रयोग में लाते हैं, और ये एक स्वाभाविक प्रक्रिया है। वो जो आपने कहा देवता, अब इसमें जो ऋग्वेद के देवता हैं उनको ऋत में, उनके घर को उनका कहा गया है कि वो ऋत में स्थित है। अब जब ऋत में क्या है, ऋत एक प्रकार का ऑर्डर है, जैसे इंद्र है तो एक ऑर्डर के देवता है। वो ऑर्डर क्या है, वो ऑर्डर है कि भाई वर्षा होना या ये होना, वरुण जल के ऑर्डर के लिए है, अदिति जो है वो आकाश में जो है। तो जो मूल धारणा है जो ऋग्वेद में विकसित होती है वो ऋत की धारणा है। ऋत का मतलब है ऑर्डर, और देव जो है ऋग्वेद के वो उस ऑर्डर को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। और मैं आपको एक चीज ऐसे ही, मैं मतलब ये थोड़ा सा अलग हो जाएगा, मीमांसा दर्शन में और न्याय दर्शन में जबरदस्त जो है डिबेट चली है, शास्त्रार्थ हुआ। उसमें मीमांसकों, न्यायिकों का कहना था कि यह जो संपूर्ण जगत है, सृष्टि है, इसका कोई ना कोई रचयिता तो होगा ही, बिना रचयिता के कैसे ये हो सकती है। तो इस पे मीमांसक कहते हैं। और आपको मीमांसक जो हैं वे सीधा मतलब परंपरा की दृष्टि से वेदों को इंटरप्रेट करने का की अथॉरिटी अगर किसी के पास है तो वो मीमांसकों के पास है। और वो मीमांसक ये कहते हैं कि यदि ईश्वर ने इस सृष्टि को रचा, इस जगत को रचा, तो उस ईश्वर को रचने वाला कौन है, और फिर अगर उसने रचा तो फिर उसको रचने वाला कौन है। और फिर उन्होंने कहा ये तो एड इन्फिनिटम है, ये तर्क ही आधारहीन है। इस पे न्यायिक कहते हैं ठीक है मान लिया, लेकिन कम से कम एक सुपरवाइजर तो चाहिए जो देखे कि सब कुछ
जी
ठीक ठाक
सर।
चल रहा है।
नहीं, वेरी
तो
इंटरेस्टिंग सर। सर माफ
पर
कीजिएगा,
फिर
मैं
concept होते हैं
हाँ प्लीज,
कि
जी जी
अगर
जी
एक
सर।
सुपरवाइजर है तो दूसरा सुपरवाइजर होगा, तीसरा कहां तक जाएगा ये। और ये बात 18वीं शताब्दी में जॉन स्टुअर्ट मिल कह रहा है, जो मीमांसक और न्यायिक हजारों साल पहले ही डिबेट कर चुके हैं। लेकिन इन सब में जैसे भक्ति योग है, भक्ति होगी जब तक ईश्वर की धारणा नहीं होगी तो भक्ति नहीं होगी। भक्ति भी मार्ग है। कैसे? क्योंकि एक भक्त अल्टीमेटली अपने ईश्वर के साथ एकाकृत हो जाना चाहता है। वो वही हो जाना चाहता है जैसे मैंने पहले भी कहा कि शंकराचार्य से जब गोविंद पाद ने, उनके आचार्य ने उनसे पूछा तुम अपना परिचय दो, तो 8 वर्ष के शंकराचार्य ने कहा मैं न आकाश हूं, न तेज हूं, न वायु हूं, चिदानंद रूपम शिवो हम शिवो हम। और उन्होंने स्वयं को ही शिव बताया। यह एकीकृत भाव जो है यह भक्ति है। यहां पर भी बिलीफ सिस्टम नहीं है।
बहुत सुंदर सर। प्रश्न तो बहुत आ रहे हैं सर, लेकिन हमारी मजबूरी ये है कि हमारे पास वक्त की कमी है, और आपने अपना इतना कीमती वक्त हमको दिया। हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स के बड़े अच्छे रिएक्शंस आ रहे हैं। Really informative session. Thanks for enlightening, sir. Very informative and knowledgeable session. जिन पार्टिसिपेंट्स के प्रश्न मैं नहीं ले पाई हूँ मैं उनसे माफी चाहूंगी, मैं सर को वो भेज दूंगी एंड विल गेट बैक। सब कुछ अनादि अनंत है। धन्यवाद महोदय, विकास शर्मा जी ने कहा है। सर, I would like to convey my official vote of thanks to you, sir. It was an amazing, enlightening lecture, और जिस जज्बे के साथ आपने हमें अपने जो ये टॉपिक हमारा था उस पर हमारी नॉलेज को इंक्रीज किया। मेरे जहन में इस वक्त बस एक शेर आ रहा है सर, ये आपकी नज्र है कि जिस तरह से आपने हम लोगों को समझाया, जिस तरह से आपने बताया, तो बस एक शेर मेरे जहन में आपके लिए इस वक्त आ रहा है। वो ये है कि सर, मुझको मेरे वजूद की हद तक न जानिए, मुझको मेरे वजूद की हद तक न जानिए, बेहद हूँ, बेहिसाब हूँ, बेइंतहा हूँ मैं, बेहद हूँ, बेहिसाब हूँ, बेइंतहा हूँ मैं। ऑन दैट नोट, एंड सर एक और थॉट मेरे जहन में अभी आई है, तो मैं चाहूंगी कि मैं वो आपके साथ शेयर कर लूं। जो आपने जो कोहेरेंट की बात की, जो एक अच्छे इंसान बनने की बात की, कंट्रीब्यूट करने की बात की, तो उस पे भी मुझे एक शेर याद आता है कि घर से मस्जिद है बहुत दूर, हम धर्म की बात कर रहे हैं, हम पंथ की बात कर रहे हैं, तो हमेशा जो शायर होता है वो एक एहसास को जुबां दे देता है। घर से मस्जिद है बहुत दूर, चलो ऐसा यूं कर लें। घर से मस्जिद है बहुत दूर, चलो यूं कर लें। किसी रोते हुए बच्चे को हंसाया जाए, किसी रोते हुए बच्चे को हंसाया जाए। Thank you, sir. On behalf of ARSD College and in partner with Ramanujan College, and on behalf of my honorable principal, Professor Gyantosh Kumar Jha, and on behalf of all the participants who are so actively participating and listening, and their contribution is immense. And on behalf of my entire team, my tech team, डॉक्टर निशा झा जो टेक्नोलॉजिकल असिस्टेंट्स है मेरे पास यहाँ जो मेरी हेल्प कर रही हैं, उनका शुक्रिया। एंड माय एंटायर टीम, प्रोफेसर अंजलि, प्रोफेसर विनीता तुली, IQAC इंचार्ज, सबकी तरफ से मैं आपका तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ। और सर मैं एक चीज कुछ जो आपने जो लेक्चर दिया उसमें मुझे एक चीज याद आ रही है कि बहुत पहले मुझसे मैंने कहीं ये सुना था कि, और ये सोच हम यहाँ से लेके जाएं, और एटलीस्ट माय टेक अवे फ्रॉम योर लेक्चर इज दैट कि हम ये सोच लेके जाएं कि हम आने वाले फ्यूचर में, या हम अपना कोहेरेंट डेवलपमेंट तो कर रहे हैं लेकिन हम आने वाले उसके लिए क्या कर रहे हैं। तो मुझे एक बहुत अच्छे सा शेर यहाँ पे भी याद आ रहा है जिसपे मैं अपनी बात खत्म करूंगी। एक नए अंदाज से हम मर रहे हैं, एक नए अंदाज से हम मर रहे हैं, सुना है हम तरक्की कर रहे हैं, सुना है हम तरक्की कर रहे हैं। तो सर बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया जिस तरह से यू टुक अस ऑन अ जर्नी थ्रू योर नॉलेज ऑफ द आश्रम परंपरा। और हम कोशिश करेंगे कि हम अपने रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में, अपने प्रोफेशन में आपके दिए हुए जो इतने सुंदर विचार थे उसको लाने की कोशिश करेंगे। आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर, थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी। बहुत
थैंक यू सो मच सर, थैंक यू so much,
our ancient culture. I think we have our day is set and we are moving further to a more meaningful discussion about literatures and how poets, artists, and thinkers, philosophers have talked about inner wholeness and have contributed through their thoughts, looking at the world and the interconnectedness among various entities. Cheerful afternoon to one and all. Hope all of us are doing great. I, Dr. Shubha Dwivedi, Associate Professor, Department of English. On behalf of the Refresher Course Organizing Committee, ARST College, along with MMTTC, Ramanujan College, cordially welcome all of you to the Day 7 and second session of the 2-week online refresher course, Holistic Empowerment for Stress Management, a multidisciplinary approach integrating literature, art, social science, and medicine. The future of poetry is immense because in poetry, where it is worthy of its high destinies, our race, as time goes on, will find an ever surer and surer state. Now, agreeing with this thought of Matthew Arnold, the great Victorian poet and critic, I certainly believe, I have got reasons to believe that more than philosophy, dogma, or any other field, it's literature, that gives shelter, positive thoughts, and positive direction to humanity. And today we are going to talk about the possibility of chronicling humanity's struggles and triumphs through literature. As we know that from the medieval era to the Elizabethan age and through the Industrial Revolution, French Revolution and World Wars, colonialism and other violent conflicts all throughout the world, literature captured the essence of the time, reflecting the zeitgeist, societal values, and human emotions. So literature, with its equal emphasis on thought and emotions, can guide humanity better, can give them better direction. Through its diverse forms, pleasurable techniques, literature has not only mirrored the world, but also shaped it, influencing societal norms, values, and progress. The symbiotic relationship between literature and society is undeniable, as literature is both a product of its time and also a catalyst for change, inspiring individuals to strive for equality, liberty, and fraternity, and working for a more compassionate and enlightened world. Friend, today's session is going to be an investigation into how literatures as a form of communication have reflected upon experiences of humanity at large, individual struggles, and emotional resilience across cultures and time. More specifically, we are going to discuss how literatures have amplified the voices of the subaltern and the oppressed, have documented their agonies, trauma, and emotional crisis in pre-modern and modern contexts. Furthermore, highlighting the impact of technology on human lives and offering insights on how one can build hope and move forward from trauma to empowerment. Friends, I have the pleasure to introduce you to our resource person for this session, Professor Barun Kumar Mishra, an avid researcher, translator, and a committed academician. He is Professor of English at Rajdhani College, University of Delhi. He has been actively involved in research of English language teaching in India. Mr. Mishra is associated with FORTEL, Forum for Teachers of English Language and Literature, and has contributed several scholarly articles to its journal. He has translated Problematizing English in India into Hindi. He has also authored Emotional Intelligence and English Drama. He has published 2 articles in Hindi journal Kal Ke Liye on socio-cultural aspects of Hindi belt. Professor Mishra has also translated the poetry of eminent Hindi poet Dr. Hemant Kukreti and authored e-lessons on translation and interpreting for IIIL University of Delhi and created text material for distant learners of University of Pune and School of Open Learning University of Delhi as well. He successfully completed ICSSR-sponsored short-term empirical research project in 2022-2024. Professor Mishra has published several research papers on different fields of literature. So with these words, I invite Professor Barun Kumar Mishra to speak on his chosen subject, Narratives of Stress and Literature and Arts, Methods of Transformation. Over to you, Professor Mishra, whenever you are ready.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Subha, for introducing so this beautifully and making this possible for me to deliver a lecture here on stress and narratives of stress and literature and the role of literature and arts in transforming the stress, anxiety, nervousness, all such kind of mental, psychological issues and problems that actually is a greater cause of worry nowadays. So I would like to begin with one beautiful poem by John Keats, Endymion, where he says, "A thing of beauty is joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It never passes into nothingness, but will keep a power quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing." So where is the stress there? There is no stress there in these or in such kind of piece or pieces of literature that we come across, that we read, or say there is plenty of other poetry and other kinds of literature which if we engage ourselves into, it definitely rescues us, keeps us quiet, happy, and healthy. But since stress is there, it is there in society, it is there in public life, in the lives of people, and stress has a cause. Stress is a cause of worry also. So I would rather like to say, people often say also that a little stress is good. A little stress is good, yes, maybe. But there is a very thin line there that distinguishes the sensitivity, responsibility, sense of duty from stress. So it is this tendency of worrying, additionally worrying extra, becoming anxious and nervous about the responsibility or the job in hand. That is what that takes us into the zone of stress, maybe into the zone of anxiety, which is very common and so very easily experienced by all of us. It happens. It happens in the lives of us all. But we, the people of literature, we have a very easy way to come out of such anxieties, such such kind of stress or such kind of a mental psychological condition. So I'll be beginning my paper formally now, and stress in literature, or say the narratives of stress in literature, and the way art and literature helps in transformation. I don't talk about the word resolution. Resolution, transformation is a better word, or rather, the transformation is something which takes us in a more viable, positive environment than the resolution, because resolution leaves the scars of the past there. So if we look at the kind of uh, the the neurosis that Freud talks about. So those conditions that they have an imprint of the past upon the present. So this is not to go into the past, rather look for a fair, better future. So the World Health Organization defines stress as a state of worry, of mental tension caused by a difficult situation. Stress is a natural human response that prompts us to address challenges and threats in our lives. Everyone experiences stress to some degree. The way we respond to stress, however, makes a big difference to our overall well-being. So it is our own determination, our own way of handling the stress is something that makes the situation different for us, and that makes us also unique in those cases of management of stress. So we have a very beautiful text. We call it Sri Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita is probably if we consider it seriously, it, we could say that it is the first book on emotional intelligence or on management of emotional crisis. So the message, the kind of situations of human trauma, human stress that it deals and defines, and the lesson and message that it passes to us is something which really is takes us towards a very neutral position, strengthening our willpower, our determination, everything. So moving further, stress affects both mind and the body. A certain amount of stress is beneficial and can help us perform our activities more effectively, but too much stress can cause physical and mental health problems. Learning how to cope with stress can help us feel less overwhelmed and support our mental and physical well-being. Stress makes it hard for us to relax and can come with a range of emotions, including anxiety and irritability. When stressed, we may find it difficult to concentrate. We may experience headache, other body pains, and anxiety of a different kind, wherein one feels weightless, finds trouble in sleeping. There are several other symptoms of stress which are very quite often and very much obvious, and is registered obviously by others. So people may find you or someone who is in stress in a very bad shape. So losing appetite or eating more than usual, there are multiple kinds of symptoms that are there while one is under any kind of stress. And chronic stress is even more dangerous, and it is, I mean, very difficult actually to control oneself, because you never know when you slip down into other kinds of mental disorders, maybe depression, maybe even further to some other such kind of mental trouble or sickness. But the point is, it is our say, if we become conscious and careful, maybe we could save ourselves from going deep down into such troubles. So stress constitutes a multifaceted physiological and psychological reaction to various stimuli, which can elicit feelings of being overwhelmed, anxious, or perceiving oneself as threatened. Numerous antecedents, including occupational stressors, financial hardships, interpersonal conflicts, mental health challenges, concerns regarding personal well-being, and significant life transitions trigger this complex response. The ramifications of stress extend profoundly to an individual's emotional state, energy levels, and overall health, underscoring its passive influence on holistic well-being. Notably, chronic exposure to stressors, if not properly managed, can precipitate a broad spectrum of adverse health outcomes, encompassing both physical ailment and mental health disorders. So now I move towards literature. And if we look at literature, so literature is not a book of medicine for stress. It does not have any shortcut remedial method to curb our stress directly. It does not have any such kind of a medicine, but it is an excellent medium to handle the stress and anxiety that one is undergoing. Literature, on the other hand, is a purgatory experience and immersion into a world which is different from the world of the reader. For example, cinema, a very powerful medium of artistic expression, engages its audience in a plot, story, narrative, and events, real or fictional, that appeal to the viewer on emotional, psychological, and mental levels. Since cinema is a direct representation of action, therefore, the connect between the events in the movie and the mental state of the viewer is really very direct, and the distractors are very lesser than as compared to reading a novel or even a play. So this act of entering into the text, the reader or the viewer enters into the text, whether literary, artistic, or cinematic, it is a journey into a subconscious that is not one's own. So after identifying oneself with the protagonist, with the story, with the events, which is there in the text, there in the cinema, one is immersed in a world which is a different world from the one in which he or she lives. So it at the same time takes the reader's viewer away from the real world to which one belongs to. This transportation from the real into the unreal is an extraordinary experience that allows one to skip and disorient from the traumatic and emotional consciousness, memory, and events that they are or have been undergoing. So it is with this departure from your present to or into a world which is different from what you occupy or the world in which you are placed or which you are put into is something, it is a very different kind of an experience, and that is the beauty of arts and literature, where it provides us a very simple and easy medium to skip the such mental and psychological hardships. So literature is of multiple kinds, and then there are literature, there are different stories of trauma, stories of trouble, stories of say exploitation. There are multiple kinds of stories, plots and stories which have been produced by writers of different kinds. But the literature that contains stories and experiences of trauma, stress, and many other such disorders that involve human existence is something which can be categorized different from other such stories, which actually provide some easier and comfortable relief actually to the reader. So reading a tragedy, a tragic text is something that might depress you further. And on the other hand, if it is a feel-good novel or a feel-good film, a kind of a movie which has a kind of a text which has a very, say, happy, positive, victorious, satisfactory ending, that really is a we say food, खुराक जिसे कहते हैं. It is really very much comforting actually. So on the other hand, the mental, emotional, and psychological conditions of human being can be a product of many historical, physical, and other material causes that have been integral to human existence and survival. Human history, human civilization, if we look back at it, is a history of wars, history of conflicts, history of emergent nationalities, war among nations. This war is still going on. People are getting killed, innocents get killed. So this violence which we contest on the other hand, but the same violence persists, and the same violence is taking away lives of millions of innocents across the world, which we have not been able to control or stop. So such literature is one such way of reminding us all, reminding people about the impact and influence of such events of war, events of violence, which have been very much catastrophic upon the lives of the humanity or human being. Hence, human survival also is a long story of creating a civilization through experiences that have been experimental, accidental, and full of encounters that were painful and traumatic, surviving the nature across all its extremities, and surviving the wars across all the trauma that is exerts upon human lives, tells us about such narratives of survival, which if you look back at those narratives, at the lives of the people of, say, hoary past, maybe of the ancient times, and we now are put in a world of technological superiority, where we have a very good and great dependence upon technology. So it really looks either surreal or fictional, but it is history. It is recorded. It has happened, which we have to agree to. And humanity has or have survived all such traumas, all such extremities, all such experiences, and this transcendence is there, and we find ourselves somewhere in the course of history, in the course of time, in that linearity, we have our place there. So this linearity needs to be understood, that how literature depicts all such stories, all such experiences, and all such things. So literature serves further as a means of historical documentation and transmission, Freud believes that all neurosis was a result of previous traumatic experience. And on the other hand, if we look at the theorization of this trauma, so the trauma theory centers itself around post-traumatic stress disorder. In the war-infested parts of the world, people suffer more from this stress disorder, this PTSD, more often than from the terror attack. So the anxiety of an attack is something that is, as it imprints much deeper upon the minds of people than the actual terror attack. So the first instance of trauma theory is Cathay Curie's Unclaimed Experience, published in 1996. Cathay Caruth is another leading pioneer of trauma theory who says that literary texts are a means through which the nature of trauma is revealed by its witnesses. Literature enables us to bear witness to events that cannot be absolutely known and produces us to experiences that might have otherwise stayed unheard and unspoken. So, in helping individuals manage and cope with stress, now I move on to spirituality and role of religion in managing and coping stress. And here I will introduce Kabir Das, a poet from Indian knowledge tradition and one of the greatest poets of Bhakti tradition in India. So, spirituality and religion have been recognized as significant factors. Numerous studies and discussions have demonstrated that religion and spirituality serve as effective coping mechanisms during times of stress. To find meaning in challenging situations and to derive strength to endure difficulties, individuals often turn to their spiritual beliefs and faith, and it is a fact. Studies have focused on a positive association between psychological and spirituality, religiosity, well-being. Lower levels of depression, anxiety, and overall psychological distress are linked to engaging in religious or spiritual practices. According to Anderson, research across various sectors, including healthcare, corporate settings, and education, highlights the role of spirituality and religion in fostering resilience. People who blend their spiritual beliefs into their work life report greater job satisfaction. Several studies have investigated the relationship between ethical decision making and spirituality. Ethical behavior is often seen as an indicator of moral values obtained from one's faith, and people with strong spiritual or religious beliefs tend to make more ethical decisions. It reduces the stress associated with moral dilemmas. Religion and spirituality can play a role in conflict transformation. And morality, as we talk about morality, so morality is understood more in terms of religion or religious morality. Although morality may exist without religion even, morality may exist in our behavior, in our conduct, otherwise as well. But the religious morality is seen very co-terminously with each other, religion and morality. And second thing, which is also very much useful here, is meditation and mindfulness based interventions rooted in spiritual tradition have shown very much promise in promoting overall wellness, and it reduces stress very much. And we are often being advised by people to do yoga, Kapalbhati, Anulom Vilom, and they are really wonderful, and they have their results, and they show results very soon, actually. So, and during the time of, say, COVID, 2-3 years back, people were really struggling with multiple diseases, disorders, even the effects of COVID itself. And this meditation really and yoga has helped people in recovering very fast. So students and educators in educational settings have benefited from the incorporation of spiritual and religious practices. Techniques such as reflective exercises and mindfulness meditation have been found to enhance learning outcomes and reduce academic stress. Some forward-thinking organizations have displayed practices that promote employees' spiritual well-being in the corporate world. These include mindfulness workshops, meditation programs, and spaces for quiet reflection. Employees who join these activities tend to experience greater job satisfaction and lower stress levels. As such, individuals and organizations need to respect and accommodate different spiritual and religious perspectives in their approach to stress management. Having said these words, I would like to draw your attention towards a couple of poems of Kabir Das, the leading Bhakti poet of Indian knowledge tradition, who is acclaimed equally by many different sects and religions of the country as to be a poet sent incarnation of God on earth to a disciple of Ramdas, the famous founder saint of Ramdasi tradition. Within the greater frame of Bhakti tradition in India, Kabir projects himself as the purest and cleanest soul who becomes what he originally is, casting away all kinds of impurity and corruption that the world is caught in and lives with, and under the impression that it is the real one. This poem, or there are 2-3 poems, sorry, smaller ones only. Kabir is a unique example which teaches us, if we look deeper into the acts of Creator and try to realize the different chakras and nadis that we are provided with, we will be in a position then to be the Atman of the Upanishad, and will be able to connect ourselves with the ultimate power of the world, the Almighty. So the 3 small sets of couplets by Kabir is a true exemplification of how we may make literature, poetry a powerful medium to combat our ignorance and subsequent mental and psychological burden and stress. The title of this poem is The Lord is in Me. The Lord is in me and the Lord is in you. As life is hidden in every seed, so revel your pride, my friend, and look for him within you. When I sit in the heart of his world, a million sun blaze with light, a burning blue sea spreads across the sky. Life's turmoil falls quiet, all the stench of suffering washed away. Listen to the unstruck bells and drums. Love is here, plunge into its rapture. Rains pour down without water. Rivers are streams of light. How could I ever express How blessed I feel to revel in such vast ecstasy in my own body. This is the music of soul and soul meeting, of the forgetting of all grief. This is the music that transcends all coming and going. So this poem delves into the concept of divine residing within oneself. The speaker urges others to set their pride and seek the divine within. The imagery of the poem is vivid, with allusions to nature and celestial bodies. The poem's message of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment reflects the mystical and devotional nature of Kabir's work. Compared to his other works, it maintains a similar focus on inner spirituality and communion with the divine. Within the context of its period, the poem aligns with the Bhakti movement in India, which emphasized devotion and personal connection to the divine. Now, the next poem, this is not translated. I will be reading it in Hindi only. मन तू पर उतर कहाँ जइयो, मन तू पर उतर कहाँ जइयो, आगे पंथी पंथ न कोई, कुछ मुकाम न पहियो, नहीं तहाँ नीर नौ नहीं खेवत, न गुण खेचन हारा, धरनी गगन कल्प कछु नाही, न कछु वार न पारा, नहीं ता नहीं मन नहीं अपना कहू, सुन मैं सूध न पहियो, बोली हो सही बैठो घट में, वही ठौरही हुई है, बार ही बार विचार देख मो, अंत कहाँ मत जइहो, कहें कबीर सब छाड़ी कल्पना, ज्यों के त्यों ठहरी है. Oh, what shore would you cross, O my heart? There is no traveler before you, there is no road. Where is the movement? Where is the rest on the shore? There is no water, no boatman is there. There is not so much as a rope to tow the boat, nor a man to draw it. No earth, no sky, no time, no nothing. Is there no soul, no form? There is neither body nor mind, and where is the place that shall still the thirst of the soul? You shall find not in that emptiness. Be strong, enter into your own body, for there your foothold is firm. Consider it well, O my heart. Go not elsewhere. Kabir says, put all imaginations away and stand fast in that which you are. So be what you yourselves are. निर्भय निर्गुण गुण रे गाऊंगा, मूल कमल दृढ़ आसन बंधु, उल्टी पवन चढ़ाऊंगा, मन ममता को थीर कर लाऊं जी पंचो तत्व मिलाऊंगा, इंगला पिंगला सुखमन नाड़ी जी त्रिवेणी पे हूँ नहाऊंगा, पंच पचीसों पकड़ मंगाऊं जी, एक ही डोर लगाऊंगा, शून्य शिखर पर अनहद बाजे जी, राग 36 सुनाऊंगा, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधु, जीत निशान बुलाऊंगा. So fearlessly I will sing the attributes of the one without attributes. Using the root lotus as a steady seat, I will make the wind rise in rivers, steadying the mind's attachment. I will unify the 5 elements. Ingla, Pingla, and Sukman are the channels. I will bathe at the confluence of 3 rivers. The 5 and 25 I will master by my best and string them together on one common thread. At the summit of emptiness, the unstruck unheard sound reverberates. I will play the 36 ragas, says Kabir. Listen, O brother seekers, I will wave the victory flag. And the most famous one, this is quite often sung by many Kabir Panthis and the singers of Kabir. Kabir is more, has survived more in orality, in the songs of the Bhaktas across the Middle Ages, across many centuries, from Bihar to MP to UP to Rajasthan, Punjab, mostly into the Hindi speaking belt of northern India. So the singers of Kabir Wani, they sing this one very religiously and quite often. झीनी झीनी बीनी रे चदरिया, काहे का ताना काहे की भरनी, कौन तार से बीनी चदरिया, पिंगला पिंगला ताना भरनी सुस्मन, तार से बीनी चदरिया, अष्ट कमल दल चरखा ढोले पंच तत्व गुण तीनी चदरिया, साईं कुसियत मास कस लागे, ठोक ठोक के बीनी चदरिया, सो चादर सुर नर मुनि ओढ़ी, ओढ़ के मैली कीनी चदरिया, दास कबीर जतन करी ओढ़ी, ज्यों की त्यों धर दीनी चदरिया. So this is a very fine soul, the human being with body and with so many wrapped threads, so many weft threads. Who can count the threads and how it is woven? So Kabir Das makes a very fine comparison here between the chadar, maybe the physical cover with the human body, since he himself was a weaver. So using this metaphor of weaving into creating human life, creating human consciousness, creating human soul, and at the same time he also talks about the impurity and corruption that engulfs the human mind and human soul. And the last lines when Kabir says, Das Kabir Jatan Kari Odhin, Kyun ki Tyon Dardini Chadariya. So this is the distinctness of being Kabir, that he also was given the same world to occupy and to live into, the world in which all others live. But I have never been infested with the misery, with the problems, maybe with the kind of that's the Maya or illusion that engulfs all others. So Das Kabir was also given this world to live into, and he goes back to the Almighty as pure as he has come into this world, as naive, as pure as it could have been. So now I will summarize quite a few things about literature. So literature thus has immense potential to act as an effective means of reducing stress. It offers immersing oneself in a captivating book, provides a delightful break from the burdens of daily life. Exploring others' experience can offer valuable insights and practical ways to cope. Emotional release is a key aspect of literature, as it can validate our feelings, promote a sense of connection, and reduce feelings of loneliness. Reading also offers a calming and reflective experience. Self-reflection is an essential part of literature, encouraging introspection and helping us gain a deeper understanding of our identities. Literature offers numerous advantages. Several notable options include self-help books offer a wealth of valuable insights and practical strategies that are instrumental in effectively managing stress in everyday life. These texts often explore various techniques and mindsets that promote mental well-being and resilience. Mindfulness and spirituality are emphasized as crucial components, underscoring the significance of cultivating tranquility and serenity from within oneself, which can lead to improved emotional regulation and overall psychological health. In addition to self-help literature, fiction encompasses a broad spectrum of literary forms, including novels, short stories, and poetry. These artistic expressions serve as vital avenues for escapism, allowing readers to transcend their immediate realities temporarily or offer profound opportunity for emotional connection and self-reflection. Memoirs and biographies are also prominent genres that provide inspiring narratives of individuals overcoming substantial challenges. Such stories not only motivate perseverance but also offer valuable lessons through personal triumphs and resilience. Poetry as a literary art form functions as a profound medium for emotional expression and personal insight, capturing the depth and complexity of human experience through carefully crafted language and imagery. And poetry is very special in English. English poetry, if we look at it, look at the forms, look at the kind of meter, syllables, and the multiple forms of poetry, maybe Ottawa Rhyma, Terza Rhyma, lyric, sonnet. So the richness and variety of English poetry is really very remarkable. And you there we read romantic poetry, we read Victorian poetry, modern poetry, postmodern poems even. They really are very delightful reading them and very, very informative as well. So the rich use of language in those poems, look at the modern fiction, read the fiction of James Joyce, for that matter, maybe reading Bertolt Brecht, Samuel Beckett, even Bertolt Brecht, reading them is really a very different kind of an experience. It takes us into a world language, use of language, and James Joyce specifically is master among them all, whose complex use of language is very, very much celebrated actually by the critics. So a multitude of people find solace in written works which delineates various functions of expressive writing, emphasizing their role in emotional and psychological development. So it acknowledges the importance of articulating emotions through stories or poems that effectively convey the author's sentiments, thereby facilitating emotional release and understanding. Secondly, it highlights how such works offer relatable experience, connecting readers with individuals who have faced comparable challenges, thus fostering empathy and a sense of shared human experience. Thirdly, it emphasizes the capacity of these texts to provide support and inspiration. Uplifting narratives or perspectives serve to bolster resilience and motivate perseverance in the face of adversity. Fourthly, it highlights the role of literary works in fostering deep contemplation, stimulating self-reflection, and promoting personal growth through thoughtful engagement with the material. Lastly, it highlights the potential of written works to foster understanding and bonds, illustrating universal human experiences that transcend cultural and individual differences, thereby promoting social cohesion and empathy. Numerous prominent themes are widely acknowledged. So, since our broader area is stress, so we stick around the mental health, and mental health constitutes a fundamental component of overall well-being, encompassing a complex interplay of emotional, psychological, and social factors that collectively influence an individual's functioning. It profoundly affects cognitive processes such as perception, reasoning, and decision making, as well as emotional regulation and social interactions. The state of mental health is instrumental in shaping how individuals cope with stressors, sustain interpersonal relationships, and navigate various life challenges. Recognizing the importance of mental health is essential for fostering environments that promote resilience, psychological safety, and recovery from mental health disturbances. And I would also like to remind here about the two prominent Shakespearean characters. One is Hamlet, Prince Hamlet, and the other is one is Lady Macbeth. They are typical cases of certain kind of emotional, psychological condition, which we all know, and their actions under this pressure and influence of their mental condition changes the course of action and takes the drama in a definite and different direction. So the key domains integral to mental health include overcoming personal obstacles, addressing mental health challenges proactively, engaging in ongoing self-discovery to understand one's inner landscape, cultivating and maintaining meaningful relationships, and pursuing continuous personal growth. An in-depth understanding of these interconnected facts is crucial for developing effective strategies that support mental well-being across diverse populations. So now I have prepared a short list of certain fictional works that may be read as for reducing stress. Fantasy novels such as universally acclaimed Harry Potter series and the timeless epic The Lord of the Rings offer readers an enchanting and immersive journey into meticulously crafted alternate realms. Romantic comedies present delightful and engaging narratives, including classics like Pride and Prejudice and contemporary works such as The Rosie Project, a novel which collectively inspire feelings of joy, warmth, and optimism. Inspirational fiction, exemplified by found works like The Alchemist, The Little Prince, delve into existential and philosophical themes, encouraging deep personal reflection and fostering a sense of introspective growth. Mystery and thriller genres provide captivating narratives characterized by intricate plotting and suspense, as seen in iconic works such as Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes series and Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl, which serve as a compelling escapes from the stresses and complexities of modern life. Uplifting contemporary fiction, including titles such as The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel by Society, and The Nightingale offers profound insights into human resilience and hope, resonating deeply with readers seeking solace and inspiration during turbulent times. Below are further recommendations for fiction books that delve into the themes of stress, mental health, and personal challenges. The Bell Jar, written by Sylvia Plath, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, Connie Willis, The Bellwether. It explores the complex themes of mental health and trauma. AJ Fiennes, The Woman in the Window, delves into the intricate theme of anxiety. Where Did You Go? Bernadette by Maria Semple delves into the intricate nature of family relationships and the various pressures that accompany them. This list is very short, and there is plenty more available, more than what I could list here. So these are suggestives only. The narratives and characters within these literary works are intricately crafted and compelling, serving as pivotal mechanisms that encourage readers to delve into their emotional landscapes. This engagement not only facilitates a profound understanding of personal and shared human experiences, but also cultivates a meaningful sense of connection and empathy among readers, thereby enriching their overall reading experience. Lastly, but not least, literature helps in developing emotional intelligence, which is a crucial aspect of stress management skills. As an emotionally healthy person typically lives in a less stressful life, and as I said before, probably at the beginning of this session, Bhagavad Gita is probably one of the first texts on emotional intelligence, or how to control and manage one's emotions so one may not become overreactive, maybe, or one may not end up harming oneself. So, and the principle of neutrality, the Bhagavad Gita tells us about a condition, a mental condition, which is sthit pragya. So, sthit pragya, it is there in the second chapter, somewhere 17th, 18th sloka. Atmanaivatmana tushta sthit pragya sthit. So this sthit pragya is a condition wherein you are unaffected by everything or anything that you come across. So you are raised to a level where nothing can influence you, and you then belong to a system, to a world which is very different from where you were put into. And anyways, so emotional intelligence is an ability to enable you to control your emotions and behavior at a time when you are ignited upon to react, but you should be quiet enough to read and register the dialogue that you are getting involved into, and thereupon to which you have to react to. So according to Daniel Goleman, emotional intelligence refers to the capacity for recognizing our feelings and those of others, for motivating ourselves, for managing emotions well in ourselves and our relationships. It describes abilities distinct from but complementary to academic intelligence. The purely cognitive capacities measured by IQ, intelligent quotient. Many people who are book smart but lack emotional intelligence often end up working for individuals who have lower IQs than they do, but excel in emotional intelligence skills. So these are two different kinds of intelligence, intellectual and emotional, express the activity of different parts of the brain. The intellect is based solely on the workings of the neocortex. Now, the brain is divided into two parts. Neocortex is the thinking brain, the brain that thinks, that enables us to think, and the other one is amygdala, which is the reflexive reactive brain. So the defense mechanism or our prompt reactions about anything, maybe the defense mechanism itself, it comes from that part of brain. So it is the neocortex actually that is the thinking brain. It is called the thinking brain, and it distinguishes us from other non-human primates. So the more recently evolved layer of the brain, the neocortex is newer in terms of its evolution also, and there are the olfactory lobe or the higher limbic brain, which is just above our say spinal cord, is situated, are the ones that have initially been grown in human body. So the emotional centers are located in the lower brain, in the more ancient subcortex. Emotional intelligence involves these emotional centers at work in concert with the intellectual centers. According among the most influential theorists of intelligence to point out the distinction between intellectual and emotional capacities was Howard Gardner, a Harvard psychologist who in 1983 proposed a widely regarded model of multiple intelligences. His list of 7 kinds of intelligence include not just the familiar verbal and mathematical abilities, but also 2 personal varieties, knowing one's inner world and social adaptiveness. And now here I would also like to include and add the hierarchy of needs, the theory given by Maslow. So among the hierarchies which he categorized into 5 different kinds, beginning from physiological, safety, belongingness, esteem, to the last one, which is self-actualization. So this self-actualization is about cognitive behavior and also about abilities to identify art, literature, and other such philosophical and ontological abilities. So this is so very much a part of human evolution or of human kind, wherein control over, or rather an idea over such emotional states and conditions is really a very useful method in maintaining one's personal, mental, and physical health. So Selove and Mayer defined emotional intelligence as the ability to monitor and regulate one's own and others' feelings and to use these feelings to guide thought and action. So this is how it, it is categorized also further, this emotional intelligence, into 5 different subheadings. So the first one is self-awareness. Self-awareness is knowing what we are feeling in the moment and using those preferences to guide our decision making. So having a realistic assessment of our abilities and a well-grounded sense of self-confidence. Self-awareness is really very crucial and central because knowing oneself is really central to knowing others also. So the next one is self-regulation, means handling our emotions so that they facilitate rather than interfere with the task at hand. Being conscientious and delaying gratification to pursue goals, recovering well from emotional distress. And so self-regulation is another powerful medium which helps us to control our own emotions. and enables us to handle them smartly. Next is motivation, using our deepest preferences to move and guide us towards our goals, to help us take initiative and strive to improve and to persevere in the face of setbacks and frustrations. And motivation is really central, actually very crucial, because without motivation, one would never move an inch. So motivation is really very, very crucial and central. We work for results, and our results are our cause of motivation. Empathy, sensing what people are feeling, being able to take their perspective, and cultivating rapport and attunement with a broad diversity of people. So it is not possible to connect each and every individual, but maybe we could maximize this experience, and we can have at least a good and great amount of empathy towards people. Next and last is social skills, handling emotions in relationship well and accurately, reading social situations and networks, interacting smoothly, using these skills to persuade and lead, negotiate and settle disputes for cooperation and teamwork. Now, to better grasp the potent hold of emotions on the thinking mind and why feelings and reason are so readily at war, let's consider how the brain evolved. So human brain is triple the size of those in our nearest in evolution, non-human primates. So over the millions of years of evolution, human brain has grown up from how and what it was, and is supported well by looking at the growing size of human head and the reduction of proportionate size in human jaw. So after the separation into humanoids from congidies, humanoids become human beings, and congidies continues to be the apes, chimpanzees, and other animals. So this separation takes place millions of years ago. So the non-human primates and the human ones are also called genuses. So as identified by anthropologists, the first genus of its kind is Australopithecus, and the Australopithecus was in looks as similar as to an ape or a chimpanzee, but as for the next generation of the genus comes, Homo habilis, there was a difference there between Australopithecus and the Homo habilis, and the difference was because just due to the growth of brain, so the head size was getting bigger and the jaw size was smaller, and it continues with Homo erectus and finally settles with the Homo sapiens. And the bend of the back that we see with the animals was something that was also observed and noticed among all these different genuses. It was the Homo sapien who stood straight. So it is the human brain that develops in the human mind, the human head is how it is seen and is seen across the evolution, that from a very small size of head to a bigger one in size is only because of the growth of the brain. So this brain grows inside our head, and it also changes us physiologically in many different ways. So this change in human brain and making us Homo sapiens, the neocortex, giving us the neocortex, the seat of thought. So it contains the centers that put together and comprehend what the senses perceive. It adds to a feeling what we think about it and allows us to have feelings about ideas, art, symbols, and imaginings. Now, there is, I will read a list of feel-good movies. If you find time, you should read these novels and watch these movies.
Mhm.
And after this, I will
Okay.
come.
Are you through?
Just 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
A Man Called Ove by Frederick Beckman, The Rosie Project, Green Simpson, The House in the Caroline Sea, or by T.J. Clune, The Flasher, Pitholieri, The Gershny Literary and Potato Bill Pie Society. Author is Marianne Saffir, Annie Barrows, The Midnight Library, Anxious People by Frederick Beckman, Peach Reed, Emily Henry, a novel love story, Ashley Watson, Book Lovers, Emily Henry, Aliena Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gally Animal. So the list is really very long. Okay, thank you, Subha. Thank you very much. I shall stop
Thank
here.
you, Professor Mishra, for this detailed exposition of literature and how it can change our lives, how it can help us evolve. In fact, you gave us so many valuable ideas. In fact, there were so many things I wanted to talk about in detail, but I would try to recall, one by one as to, the flow of your thought was actually, it was quite long. And you talked about diverse literary traditions from the east to the west. You talked about our ancient epics, you talked about Kabir and Bhagavad Gita and various other texts, from the Western traditions, which have helped us combat stress and also given us valuable ideas to go ahead and to work with positivity and resilience. So what I have understood is, first of all, the thing that comes to my mind is what is already there in our scriptures, that the truth is one and wise men articulate it differently. So, ekam sad vipraha bahudha vadanti. That is what they say in our culture. That the reality might be the same, but it is approached, interpreted differently by writers, authors, poets, philosophers. And end of the day, all of us, we want us to support the positivity in humanity and also interconnectedness among the whole of the cosmos. So even those texts apparently, which seem to be negative or which seem to be talking about nihilism, absurdity, or isolation of humans. You very well mentioned Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot. I was reminded of more such plays in Indian tradition. Badal Sarkar's Ivam Indrajit and Pagla Ghoda and Julus and many other. I mean, there are so many plays, which talk about the absurdity of human existence. So, but we see that the end result or the end message is positive. They reaffirm our faith in humanity, in life, and they want us to continue living, at all cost. They want us to go on living. So, what is your take on this? I mean, there are different interpretations, different approaches, yet the message is a common one.
I would first say about the element of justice. How, even if the text is has a very negative ending, or maybe it talks at large about dehumanization, dehumanizing agencies, it talks about oppression, exploitation of different kinds, subjugation of one or the other kind, which is there, but the poetic justice is there, the element of poetic justice is there, and above all, the maybe justice, quote unquote, and then further divine justice, whatever it is. So even if that you receive what you have done, or the outcome that you you get what you have cultivated, and so this element is there, and this needs to to be talked about, discussed widely, so that we spread an awareness among the people across the world about such things, such events which are happening in any nook and corner of the world.
Hmm. Wonderfully put. I mean, this whole idea of poetic justice, I mean, it's inbuilt in all of the plays and novels. Everywhere you will see, the evil is being punished and the good being rewarded, at least towards the end. Initially, it might seem to be, very lucrative that the evil people or the people with, sorry, with a scheming mind, they would prosper, they would rule over others, but eventually you will see their downfall, and there's a proper justification to it. So,
Yes.
yes. So,
Just a moment. I would like to add one thing more
yes.
here. Look at the myths, religious myths here. So the monsters sometimes are shown more powerful than the gods, but
Yes.
who ultimately prevails?
Yes.
The
Yes.
point is that the prevalence of goodness, and above all, one thing that is universal is the essential human goodness. Means human being is essentially good. This the idea of evil or maybe the bestiality or violence, they all are temporary. The eternal truth is essential human goodness.
In fact, it's quite interesting to note that, in a piece of literature, whether it's a poem or a story or a novel or an essay also, or a memoir, or you could say, I mean, any kind of self-writing, you would see that in a short span of time, with the help of limited possible words, writers, they are able to show, the journey of the humans, from the basest or the most, the most primitive conditions to the highest level of being. In Indian culture, they talk about, you also mentioned, the whole idea of self-actualization, self-awareness. In fact, in one of the earliest lectures, Professor Anand Prakash talked about several levels of being, so this whole journey is from Annamay Kosh to Pranmay Kosh to, to Manomay Kosh to Vigyanmay Kosh to Anandamay Kosh. So this whole, process of coming to the Anandamay Kosh, or it is possible through self-actualization, self-realization, self-awareness, and literature gives you plenty of opportunity to do that. So literature being, when you read or when you write, you involve number of faculties, number of skills, and through which you are able to cope and you are able to, get control over many of your feelings, emotions, sensibilities. And that's how, de-stressing seems to be, taking its place. Now, coming to, this has been a very fruitful session with you, Professor Mishra, and I could see that even our participants are interested in asking questions. So, but my concern, I mean, it's a general concern. All of us, teachers of literature, those who are engaging with literature at different levels for different purposes, whether for writing our papers or for teaching, various texts in the class, we know the benefits of literature, how it works as catharsis, how it works as therapy, it soothes our mind, it inspires us, motivates us, never lets us remain alone. As Francis Bacon also said that, literature, it becomes your companion when you are alone. So you will never feel lonely. You will never feel shattered. You will never feel, dejected if you have this habit of reading. But what is happening is that you can see that the love for the word and the written word is disappearing. And lot of young people, they are chucking books and they are preferring gadgets and digital tools. And in fact, the smell and the touch of the books, it used to give us so much of happiness, early in April, whenever, the new session would begin and we would get our textbooks, we would be overjoyed. We used to feel so much of happiness, getting the new books in our hands. So it was not merely, an opening into a world of knowledge, but it was something else. So, I mean, as quite truly, literature, reading literature or engaging with literature is a multi-sensory experience. You read, you listen, you visualize, you smell, you understand. So, but we see that, the young generation is sort of getting dissociated. I mean, the idea of detachment or dissociation is good, but they're getting detached and dissociated from good traditions.
What you say, it reminds me about Aristotle's defense of poetry, defense of poets. So while rejecting the idea of Plato, wherein he, banishes poets from his ideal republic, Aristotle comes in the defense and says that, see, universe is in a state of flux. And Aristotelian view of the universe of the world was biological. So he believed that this change is an everlasting process, is an eternal process. And this change, if it is read, registered, noticed, and reproduced, will definitely be very helpful for humankind and for humanity. So this state of being into a flux, into a movement, is something that is going to be there, going to happen everywhere, every time. Therefore, the abilities of literature to record, read, register such events is really a wonderful medium through which this is available for the readers.
But how to motivate our students, to go back to the written text, to the books, to the real books? I mean, that is the question. That is
some kind of dissociation from social media, I think, should be made mandatory, at least for certain hours. They should be kept away from social media, from WhatsApp, from Facebook, from other such platforms, because it has really infested their minds a lot. And this dependence upon these platforms is so very much, even we end up scrolling reels of different kinds. Yeah. So
but you can always choose
it is
between
spreading like a disease. We must try to put some check and control.
Exactly.
First, by controlling ourselves.
Yes.
You cannot ask your children to not to do something which you yourself are doing.
Exactly. But I mean, we adults, we know the benefits of both the worlds, the real world and the digital world. And we make use of both the worlds selectively and, in our own interest and everyone else's interest. And very importantly, the impressionable young minds, they need to be taught the right use of the gadgets, and also how they can benefit more from the books, and it affects their imagination. It also affects, get them the right perspective about the world. They can understand the plurality. You talked about diverse literary traditions, and I was so happy that you read out some of Kabir's dohas and Sakis in Hindi. We have a lot of Hindi speakers among our participants who must have felt very happy. In fact, throughout our engagement with the topic, stress management, we have been trying to incorporate diverse traditions, linguistic traditions, as well as literary traditions. We have talked about stories, we have talked about essays, scientific texts, literary texts. And I think for a wise mind, there is no discrimination between this and that. We should be able to make a good use of, all of these things that are available to us. So participants, this is your time to interact with the resource person who has already given you some seminal ideas to think and to ponder. And if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself or put your thoughts in the chat box, which I can present on your behalf. I can see one question for you, Professor Mishra. This is Dr. Trilochan Jaina, who would like to ask, Sir, religious literature no doubt has immense power in reducing stress among the followers, but sometimes they mislead people, creating stress and distrust among them. What is your view on this?
No, religion is for meditation. Religion is not for war. So as long religion provides you inner, say, calmness, it helps you in meditating unto yourself, unto the good elements that are within you, and it provides you a good kind of positive kind of energy and gratification. Their religion is useful. And if religion asks you to go on a war and eliminate the other believers, then it is, I would never advise. Or I don't see religion there.
Yes, there has to be a conscious thinking, some rationalization on the part of the devotees or readers of devotional literature. Devotional literature has been there in all of the cultures. In fact, they say that the best literature in most of the civilizations came in the form of devotional literature. But you have to read it with the similar, with the same spirit, with the right spirit. You can't just, sort of misinterpret it or interpret it partially in favor of one thought and against the other. So there is
Geoffrey Chaucer's first poetic collection is a Canterbury Tales.
yes.
They are on a voyage, on a pilgrimage.
Exactly.
Look at Ben Jonson, look at John Donne, the earliest English poets. They all have created a lot of devotional poetry, devotional literature.
Yes. In fact, that reminded me of Milton's On His Blindness.
On his blindness, right?
And the very famous line, they also serve who serve who stand and wait. The importance of patience, the importance of forbearance, the importance of believing in the goodness of humanity. All of these things are such enduring ideas. So, Dr. Vikas Sharma, can you unmute yourself? Is it possible? You can try unmuting yourself. Yes.
Thank you for giving me this chance. Sir, namaskaram, sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Sir, it was a very enlightening session, and it was full of literary stuff and all, philosophy also. Kabir Das was also there. I just want to recite a poem here written by me. It is given in my book, Songs of Three Lands. So the poem is, she is awaited by all here. It is full of philosophy. It is awaited by all here. We know or don't, she is there. She is there reducing breath count. She is there falling teeth and hair down. She is there reminding unenthusiastic cheer. She is there sitting above all fear. Yes, she is there. Please take care, friends, and be aware, as on this land and in this sphere, she, our only perpetual friend and heir, utters without words and the air. Yes, I am existing everywhere. Just be aware, and she is that here. So, this is the poem I have written for my book, Songs of Three Lands. तो इसमें मैं ये बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि जो है कहीं ना कहीं डेथ जो है दैट इज अल्टीमेट ट्रूथ. तो वो है ही है, वेदर यू नोइंगली और अननोइंगली अवेट फॉर दैट. मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है सर, कि आप लिटरेचर की अभी हम लोगों ने बात की है, मतलब बहुत सारे लिटरेचर हम लोग जानते हैं या अवेलेबल हैं, हम लोग पढ़ते हैं. व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट द लिटरेचर अबाउट महाभारत एंड रामायण? आर दे पार्ट्स ऑफ लिटरेचर और आर दे पार्ट्स ऑफ आवर हिस्ट्री ओनली? Because if they are the part maybe fiction.
नहीं, ये बड़ा कठिन सवाल है. ठीक है. और ये एक ऐसा, it is a part of our life, part of the lives of Hindus of this country and of the world across. They are integral to us, and they are integral source of knowledge for us. मैं बस इतना ही कहूंगा, हिस्ट्री है कि रियलिटी है, ये डिबेट हिस्टोरियंस को करने दो. हम लिटरेचर के लोग हैं. हम जो है ना, जब गोस्वामी तुलसीदास जी का नाम सुना होगा आपने, रामचरित मानस लिख रखा है उन्होंने. इट इज अ रीराइटिंग ऑफ द रामायण. एंड रीड गोस्वामी तुलसीदास जी फॉर द ब्यूटी ऑफ हिंदी लैंग्वेज. Hindi language is at its best, right? तो हम लिटरेचर के लोग हैं, हम कुछ ऐसे एलिमेंट्स ही खोजते हैं, और जो है इट इज अ मैटर ऑफ श्रद्धा एंड आस्था. सो आई वुड रादर नॉट कमेंट ऑन इट.
एक इसमें पॉइंट है, अगर परमिशन मिले, जैसे कि हम लोग बात करते हैं श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की, तो उसे आपने भी कोट किया था अभी. तो दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ महाभारत, भीष्म पर्व में दी हुई है. तो उसको हम कोट को हम सही भी मानते हैं, और 5190 साल हो चुके हैं लगभग भगवत गीता को, उसे हम गीता जयंती मनाते हैं. तो ऐसा क्या वास्तव में नहीं है?
भैया मैं मानता हूँ सब कुछ हुआ था, सब था, सब कुछ रियल है. ठीक है.
हिस्ट्री. ओके, थैंक यू.
these are greatest texts of our subcontinent, and I believe that they carry lots of information from different fields of life, not just religion or morality. In fact, all of the languages, the regional languages of our country, the bhashas of our country, they have such wonderful literature, which carry important messages for humanity. And these texts should be remembered. They should be cherished for thoughts that give that preserve humanity. The humanistic thought, the humanistic terrain that is that is captured throughout those texts is more important than anything, especially the whole discussion about the genre or the discipline it belongs to. So just for the information, I mean, in Delhi University, we are teaching episodes from the Mahabharata in the classroom to the students of English honors and also to other honors students now as a GE paper. And it sort of, awakens them to the greatness and to the richness of Indian literature that has been there, ancient Indian literature that has been there. We also teach, the Bhasha text, various Bhasha texts in our syllabus in English translation. So that shows that, all literature, is polyphony. It encompasses polyphonic voices, and all of those voices are equally represented, through various characters. And we must pay attention to all of those voices. Through overt and covert messages, literature gives us a lot than we imagine or than we can even think of. So just going by the literal meaning or having a partial biased, prejudiced view, we can't do justice to the literature, and we can also not get the right perspective about life. So with this, I think, I mean, we can look up to the works of Mahatma Gandhi and Tagore and Kabir and Frantz Fanon, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Maya Angelou, Nelson Mandela, and many other, great writers and thinkers who have given us the messages to stay united and to help humanity bring forward and to preserve peace and love and peace, with other humans. So with this wonderful session, I take this opportunity to extend a vote of thanks to our resource person on behalf of Refresher Course Committee. Professor Mishra, we appreciate your sharing your vast knowledge of the field and endowing our participants with your insights. And on behalf of the ARSD family and Ramanujan College, I would like to express my gratitude for everyone's time and involvement, the participants. Your questions were very meaningful. And in fact, I'm going to forward some of the questions which I couldn't take up because of the paucity of time to our resource person. And sincere appreciation to our Honorable Principal Professor Gyantosh Kumar Jhaji for his invaluable guidance, the College Refresher Course Committee, including the conveners, Professor Vinita Tulli, Professor Anjali Gupta, the technical team, Dr. Nisha Jha for all the support, and my colleagues for their enthusiasm, and to our very special participants for their eagerness to learn, debate, and interact in general. I wish everyone a wonderful day ahead, and this is Shubha Dwivedi closing this session, and we'll meet at 2:30 after the break. And with these final words, I would just ask everyone that I would like to tell everyone that every moment is a choice, and choose happiness. Thank you, Professor V.K. Mishra.
Thank you, Subha. Thank you very much.